The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer! Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're going to bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker, and I am joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course, the demented and fermented,
Wayne Baker.
We are in the heart of Reading, Pennsylvania for this episode. Beautiful location. From what I understand, recently rehabbed, which we're going to get into all of that. But this is exciting because we are here as a preview for what will come for the future of our friends at Saucony Creek Brewing Company. And that means we have a good old friend returning to the show.
Kirby Powell.
Thank you for having us out here, Kirby.
Absolutely.
And we have a new friend of the show. You are introducing us to so many people tonight, and I can't wait. We have also joining us
Nick Michio.
Nick, thank you for coming up to the table, man.
Thank you.
I am super, super pumped to be here. This place is beautiful. It channels so many great feelings already, and I can tell this is going to be a great space that you guys have because you're right next to the Santander Arena. That's on the Sovereign
Santander.
Santander Arena.
Well done.
I'm old school. At least I kind of caught myself with it. And for you out there in the internet, if you want to follow along with all of the shenanigans and hoopla that we have going on, don't forget you can follow us at Beer Busters on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. You can also go to beerbusterspodcast.com. And those headphones had something to say.
Maybe put those on the table. There we go.
Patreon.com/beerbusters.
Yes, after a hiatus, we did it twice, and then we did 2 event episodes. We have the return of Happy Fun Time Punishments this evening.
I am super pumped.
We brought along a couple of interesting. You guys don't know anything about this. You don't know
what do you mean? I listen to the podcast. I know I know everything about the game and the punishment.
You know about the punishments?
Kirby is
all right,
not only
he's
a
in on
listener,
it.
he's an up-to-date listener.
He's an up-to-date
you know
one,
it.
so Nick
And
doesn't know what's going on.
Speaking of Patreon, the friends at Saucony were kind enough to invite our patrons out because this location is not open yet, which we'll talk about more when we get to the interview segment. So this was another one of our exclusive invites that only our patrons were invited to. So thank you for doing that. And for those of you in podcast land, if you're a little jealous that you're not here, well, then donate as little as $1 a month, and you can be invited to cool things like this.
All it takes, $1, less than you spend on your daily coffee.
Yes, and we have a new patron in today's shout-out.
We do.
After the game, so that's exciting.
And I have new clips that we can play, so I'll make sure we play a new one for the newest patron.
Okay. I don't know if we can keep that all together, man. That's a lot to keep straight.
Probably not. We will have been have been drinking by then.
Please open a beer.
We have.
Crowler has been cracked.
Yes.
Don't worry about spilling it. Have you seen our tablecloth?
After the myriad of technical difficulties, I could sure use a beer. Beautiful Crowler. What do we have inside there, Kirby?
This is Noken, and I'm going to let Nick Michio, our head brewer, talk about
All right.
Noken.
Yeah, so Noken, really fun beer to make. It's a Norwegian-style farmhouse ale. I think it comes in around 6.2%. Recently, there's been kind of an uptick of interest in beers from Norway. It's really a unique way of brewing over there. It's kind of one of those things where they've been brewing it for many, many years. The yeast has been passed down from generation to generation. It's kind of getting lost in history, and American brewers, as being as creative as we are, went over there. We're like, hey, how are we making this beer? And there's a certain process, kvik is what it's called, or kvik, I'm sorry. Kvik is the way of passing down this yeast from generation to generation. And it's not soured at all. The culture itself can be fermented very hot, actually. I mean, this was fermented well into the 90s. I was doing some research on it. I was like, well, give it a shot. Any other yeast that you ferment well into the 90s, there's going to be plenty of off flavors, aside for some saisons from Belgium and all. But, the fermentation turned out very clean. There's Irish pale malt in there, and then dry hopped with a little bit of Matuaka. The Southern Hemisphere hops. Nice little balance between the sweetness, a little bit of floral hops, and this really unique yeast that has been sourced from Norway.
I am really digging this.
This is really nice, yeah. And
awesome.
that yeast character really comes out, and it's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
So you said it's Norwegian style. I have to ask, is there any wood?
No.
Okay,
no.
darn. I'd play the song, but we get sued so fast.
Fair enough. Fair. We play the copyright stuff in last call. where we make people pay to listen to it.
And
So
now
it's probably
you've
not a
admitted
good
to it
idea.
in the episode proper. Cool.
Shit. Sorry.
We can bleep that out.
Yeah, right. So what is Noken? Noken? Nokken, but it's an O with an umlaut. Where does that name come from?
So when we name our beers, we kind of sit around and just come up with ideas, and we Google things on the internet and try to come up with interesting, different names, because everybody knows it's easy to name a beer today, right?
Yeah, right.
So Noken, if I remember correctly, it's a Norwegian god. One of those people out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm forgetting the details, but it might even be like an animal god.
Yeah,
type
somewhat of a
thing.
mythical creature god of
Yeah.
some sorts,
Yeah.
which is a little bit of a theme that we have going on at Saucony.
Right, as you know, we've got the unicorns and broncos.
Unicorns and
Pegasus.
various modes of transportation. Yes.
Doing wild, crazy things.
Yes. The Noken on rollerblades.
Right.
I am really digging this beer. It's a great beer to start with. I love saisons. I love a good saison, and especially highlighting a more interesting and unique old world tradition like this, like like a traditional Belgian style, which is what you see all the time. But to have this this interesting Norwegian style with the cultivation of the yeast over generations and stuff. Yeah.
It's
really cool.
funny you should mention wood too, because the way that they pass down the yeast is the yeast is actually dried on several pieces of wood, and it's kind of just hanging up, in the farmhouses or whatever. It's like, oh well, it's time to make beer. We'll pull this piece of wood down here, throw it in there, and magic happens. Then little did they know. Like,
Did you just admit to there being Norwegian wood?
Yes, there is actually
All right.
Norwegian wood.
I knew it.
I'll go with it.
Couldn't hide it. Well, we have a lot of things ahead of us that we need to get to, so why don't we do this? It's been a while since I got to read the news because we had two event episodes in a row.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Dan got to take it easy, at least in the
I
prep
don't know
work.
about
Just
that.
wait for it.
Yeah.
We have like 4 episodes jam-packed here coming up.
Yeah, news may or may not be included in future episodes this summer, only because I don't know how long it's going to be between recording and publishing. This is a week, so this
Yeah.
is semi-relevant.
This one's next week.
This is fairly recent. A familiar name, since we're in the heart of Reading, is coming back to the area beer scene. Pottstown Sly Fox Brewing Company recently struck a licensing agreement to begin brewing Reading Premium Beer, which is the friendly beer for modern people, they say. We think it's an iconic brand, said Sly Fox managing partner John Giannopoulos. We make really good lager beers. That is absolutely goddamn right they do.
Yeah, they do.
And I think in the past when people brought it out, maybe it wasn't as good as it should have been. We're confident we're going to make a great beer. Part of the reason Sly Fox decided to revive the historic brand is the impending opening of the company's new restaurant in Wyomissing.
Father's Day.
Is that the official date?
Opens Father's Day, yeah.
So if you were listening to this, it opens in
This
2
weekend.
days. If you're listening to this as it goes live.
Yeah.
The fact that we're entering Wyomissing and we're going to be part of the community, we thought it'd be a cool thing to do, he said. Although Sly Fox is brewing it, it's not necessarily going to be marketed as a Sly Fox beer, though. It's made by Sly Fox, he said, but it's its own brand, which I think is really cool.
And they're going to can it, too, but not till later
Yeah.
this summer, which will be awesome.
Reading Premium, and this goes into the history, was originally brewed by Reading Brewing Company, which was founded by Philip Bessinger in 1886 at 9th and Laurel Streets in Reading. Originally known as Old Reading Beer, it was marketed as a Pennsylvania Dutch beer. Go figure. The recipe was modified then in 1952, and the name was changed to Old Reading Premium. The beer slogan was, quote, the friendly beer for friendly people. And after several years of disappointing sales, the recipe was tweaked again in 1958, and the beer was rebranded Reading Premium Beer with the slogan, the friendly beer for modern people. And then Reading Brewing Company ceased operations in 1976.
Now, it was made since 1976, though, right? Wasn't there a time?
Yeah,
not-
the brand, according to the article, changed hands a couple of times until Ruckus Brewing Company of New York purchased the Reading label in 2009.
Okay,
that was,
right. There was
actually, that's more recently than I thought.
Yeah, I remember when that
remember that.
happened, and I don't think I ever tried it. I certainly never had the original.
Right, well, I mean, I wonder if anybody in the area has a can of or bottle of
Unopened.
older, unopened
From back in the day.
unopened
from
can?
way
I-
back.
I have
There's probably cans.
I have a case of empties
Right.
Yeah.
that I bought 15, 20 years ago, but they were all empty, fortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I know, right? That'd be a good punishment.
I was going to say that'd be a hell of a punishment.
Yeah,
beer.
it would.
So anyone out there listening, if you know anyone or you happen to have one, let us know.
The coolest thing about Reading beer for me, because I don't know if it's any good or not, is the artwork. that surrounds it, like that circular, almost like target pattern, and then like the friendly beer for modern people. I can picture that sort of like retro 50s, 60s, sort of like old school modernism type look to it. So I think if nothing else, it'd be really cool just to see that on cans again, out in the market. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and if Sly Fox is involved, it's going to be a good beer.
Of course. As we do every year, we always report on the top 50 craft breweries.
List.
It's not a list. It is not a list. We've already done that list.
Yeah, we did this list already.
Because nothing changes year to year anymore, which is... What?
Things might next year.
Things change a little bit. Oh, next year.
Well, just think about, like Sam Adams, the acquisition of Dogfish.
Oh, right, because they're now...
Yeah, that's
There's
true.
some big things happening.
Yeah.
Some things shifting.
But there's an article on Brewbound. It starts off, more than half of the top 50 Brewers Association defined craft brewing companies did not grow in 2018, according to new data that was published in the May-June edition of the not-for-profit trade group's New Brewer magazine. It's the third consecutive year that at least half of the top 50 regional craft brewing companies, which are producing between 15,000 and 6 million barrels of beer a year, did not grow. In 2018, 28 of the top 50 small and independent breweries either declined or remained flat. In fact, only 7 companies in top 20 posted mid to low single-digit growth.
It's those damn millennials drinking kombucha and liquor. That's what it is.
Of course. The top 3, as we know, are Yuengling, Boston Beer, and New Belgium. They all saw declines. Yuengling was down 2%, Boston Beer was down 7%, New Belgium down 11%.
Wow.
Sierra Nevada was one that bucked the trend after they had years of 7% declines. The California, North Carolina-based brewery returned to growth in 2018 with a 2% increase, which is up to 1.1 million barrels. So it just kind of shows, I don't know where we're at with craft beer, to be honest.
I feel like, and this is pure speculation on my part, I don't know, but I feel like you're seeing a lot of those regional mid-size, we talked about this a little bit a few episodes ago, those regional mid-size craft breweries that were sort of the big players, 5-10 years ago, are starting to... It's getting a little rough around the edges, but I feel like part of that's also because a lot of smaller places, like Saucony and local places, are growing. So I kind of feel like they're sort of coming together. Like the bigger companies are starting to experience a decline while the really small breweries are growing and growing. And I wonder if it'll stabilize and everybody will kind of be in the middle.
Yeah, I don't know. It's rough to be at the top of that list right now.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. And I think a few years ago, a lot of those breweries at the top of that list thought they could go national and thought they could truly start to compete with big beer, and the consumer is saying otherwise. They're saying, no, we want to drink local, we want to drink small, and a lot. Just look at, I mentioned it before, but Green Flash, they just kind of put the bull before the horse and put all that money into expansion and thought they were going to take over, and it didn't quite go as planned.
And I think it's smart, the breweries that are starting to pull back, these really big breweries that are starting to pull back their distribution footprint a little bit, because I think it's a realization that the market is going more local. So it doesn't mean like these breweries are necessarily going to fail if they can adjust and become more of that local brewery in the places they are actually located.
Well, we've even talked.
They'll thrive.
We've talked to Wendy and Jen at Yuengling, and they have been pulling back their distribution footprint too. So, it is affecting those at the top, but I don't know. Yeah. I think the Sam Adams Dogfish acquisition is genius, and I'm going to go on record thinking it's a brilliant idea, I think it's going to save both brands, at least for the time being. And, I don't know. I think we're going to see a lot of other big, maybe surprising moves by some of those breweries just to try to stay relevant and to protect their brand.
At what point do they get to be too big, though? I know we mentioned it before with Victory and Southern Tier. When they decide to acquire other brands and welcome into their collective, when does that become too big? When is that what they set out to fight?
The thing is, though, with a situation like that, and Victory and Southern Tier, Southern Tier I don't drink very often, but Victory continues to make really good fucking beer.
Oh, of course.
And I think they will, as long as they exist. But that was a situation where they were united under a sort of investment group, rather than where, like with Dogfish Head and Sam Adams, you have two guys who pioneered the craft beer movement, who are super passionate, who make really good beer, who are coming together.
And those two guys also needed help as well. Sam, he was kind of looking for a little bit of financial help as well. So it's a win-win situation for both of them. Regardless of whether they're the pioneers and all, but a lot of everything boils down to money. Southern Tier, Victory, like, hey, we need investors. Our sales aren't quite hitting where they're supposed to be. So those mergers, the buying power that they have now, that Dogfish has now that they're joined up with Sam Adams is huge. The cost savings is tremendous.
Yeah, and it's I think it's easy to forget when you're on the consumer side of beer that it's a business. Like as cool as your local pub is, your local brewery, it's still a business that needs to make money. You know?
Right.
Yeah, it almost seems like everybody's kind of riding this trend of it's buy local. All these local breweries popping up. Where there used to be one, now there's 5. So there's competition there. Some of those breweries are actually going out of business out in Colorado and Denver. Some established breweries that have been there for 5-6 years, all of a sudden, we're not going to make it.
Yeah.
just because everybody's popping up right next door to you. But so much it could be a good thing though for the craft beer industry. It boils down to the consumer's idea of what is quality. We want to buy local, we want to try everything, but hey, you know what? Well, maybe that local isn't quite as good as the $1 million Sly Fox equipment that they have that I can go buy. Yeah, Sly Fox might be 100 miles away, but their 6-pack's pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think there could be a little bit of a turn maybe away from some of these, just because it's local, it's got to be good. It's like eventually, we build here at Saucony, we're super focused on quality. We want to get the best experience to our customers, and if that doesn't happen, I think eventually the consumer might start gearing away from it and looking for sitting down and having a nice Helles from Sly Fox or something like that.
Well, and I think that the new local brewery is a big part of it is a novelty. And if the quality isn't there to back that up, it's just a passing novelty.
Yeah, so we could be on that upwards, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, as long as it's not. I mean, for a while, people were talking about is craft beer a bubble. So I think instead of a burst, we're just seeing like a slow correction, which is probably better for everybody.
A slow correction.
A slow correction.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, because that bubble won't burst. It's just evening out. Well, that does bring us to where we are. We are at Saucony Creek, new location. I love it here. So this location is a former train station, because the train tracks are right there. Now, you, Kirby, were going into a little bit of the history of this building and how it got to be in the shape it's in now. When did you guys actually first find out that you want? When did you decide you wanted to lease this building?
Right. So we knew that we wanted to expand into the Reading area from the Kutztown Brewery location. And we started looking at buildings in the Reading area. We thought that there are a lot of reasons. Revitalization of the city. It's a market that's untapped with the arena and the DoubleTree, and there's things starting to happen in Reading. And all the owners grew up in Berks County, and not that we want to go back to the old days of Reading, but we want to move Reading forward. We looked at 6 or 7 properties in the area. We found out that this was available for lease, and we walked in here, and like you guys experience yourself, you walk in and you're like, yeah, this is it.
It's gorgeous. It's stunning in here.
To me, the building talks to you when you walk inside and you think about all the history and so forth that took place here. Mobsters in the 30s and 40s and Prohibition and all the things that happened in this building. So the history of the story of the building is that it fell into decay after Reading Railroad shut down, and it was not used after about 1983. The roof collapsed. They boarded it up. The windows were broken. It was a drug house. How they break the windows and climb in, and all those things happened. The floor was covered with a couple of inches of dirt. The basement was full of water. I mean, it was either fix it or tear it down. It was at that point. So the BARDA, which is the Reading Bus Company, and Red Rose, which is the Lancaster Company, is actually called South Central Transportation Authority, and they're run by one organization, one group, and the director of that, Dave Kilmer, is a very visionary, very forward-thinking person, and he decided that he was going to apply for a grant from the Federal Department of Transportation to restore the building. So, as I recall, the numbers were that they had to come up with $1 million of funding, and about $4 million then came in from the Department of Transportation to restore this historic building. 2013, everything came together, and boom, they gutted the building. The floors, the walls are original. Pretty much everything else, and the doors, actually. The windows, those are all original. Wow. But everything else that you see, like the benches, are actually reproductions.
Okay.
But, if you look at the understructure, the utilities, the boiler, it's all brand new. It's an incredible infrastructure inside the building. So, this was the place. We just thought this is a place to do it and bring, some brewing history to life and the train history to life here in the train station.
Yeah, I can remember. I mean, I grew up in Reading and lived in the area up until just about like 3 years ago, and I've been in this neighborhood pre-2013, and I remember this building being an eyesore and being like, don't go near there, it's dangerous. But then to walk into it now, like it's gorgeous, and it feels historic, but also like you can feel the revitalization. Like everything looks fresh and cleaned up and nice, and it's really cool. Was there? So you have a bar, obviously. Right. Was that there? And if it was, what was its purpose?
Right. So no, the bar was not there.
Okay.
So there was.
That makes sense.
You can see the one long bench that was here. There was a second long bench, roughly where those row of high tops are.
Uh-huh.
The benches were not historic. Again, they were reproductions, and so they told us we want to take the benches out and put tables in or whatnot. We can do that, but we wanted to really try to maintain the history and the appearance of the building. So we took out one bench and we built the bar, but if you look at the bar, it almost looks like it was original to the building.
That's what made me ask. I was like, it looks like it might have been here originally, but why would it have been here in a train station?
Right, it wasn't.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Really nice.
Well, it could have been like an information desk.
I was thinking something like that.
I mean, the ticket booth, the ticket windows are behind you.
Yeah, that's the coolest thing. Where your kitchen is, it actually says lunchroom above the door.
I like that.
And there's ticket windows behind us, and there's the bag. What is it? The baggage and parcels.
Rooms. And that's all original lettering. And
that's so cool. That's so cool.
And I love that the arena is catty corner from here,
right.
Which I feel like this area has been begging for something like this, a place to come in the city a little early, park your car before an event. You're going to be able to have a meal here and drink a few beers, and then you can walk right into the arena. I think that's fabulous. I've been begging for something like this for so long since the arena opened.
That's exactly part of our plan. We have 75 parking spaces here. We have about 30 in the parking lot of the train station itself out here where you guys parked. And then the garage immediately adjacent, we have 50 parking spaces.
Wow.
So you can park here. You can park right next door. From the garage, it's a 30-second walk.
Yeah.
It's well lit. We have a security guard. We're going to offer valet parking, so you can come to your event, and maybe that event's over at the Sovereign Center, the Performing Arts Center, which is a few blocks down the road. We'll valet park you here. You can have your meal. We'll have a shuttle bus and take you down to the Performing Arts Center.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
so we really want to, provide a really good experience for people coming in here. And, you grew up here. I grew up in Exeter, right over the border here. The city really is not as bad as some people make it out, but there's a stigma like any inner city.
And it's definitely not as bad as it used to be.
Right.
I mean, and I think even when it was at its worth, it obviously got exaggerated if you weren't from the city, but yeah, it's definitely improved. Yeah.
So we're excited about it, and we'll be doing a soft opening in the beginning of July. That'll be by invitation only. And then once we get comfortable with that soft opening, then we're going to be fully open, we hope, by the end of July.
That's awesome. That's right
really
around
cool.
the corner.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look ready to go. I mean, the building's ready to go.
We're just going for our final inspections, final permits, waiting for a few appliances to be installed, and we're good to go.
So once you're open, how many taps will you have?
Right. So we have a tap tower over there that we built. It's Micromatic hardware, but we built the tap ourselves, and we'll have 20 taps over there.
Wow.
So, we have, at any given time, we have 8, 10, 12, 15 beers that are, current beers. And then we have a little bit, I'm not going to call it a cellaring program, but we have a little bit of a library where, like Maple Mistress, we've got 20 kegs of last year's Maple Mistress in storage, and we'll break those out. So we're going to always have 20 of our beers on draft at any given time. Nick's committed to that, and we've been doing, guess what, Nick, 14 consistently 18 now with the additional taps we added in the back room.
Yeah, 14 plus 4 in the back, so we can roughly have 18 beers in Kutztown.
Yep. So we'll have 20 here, and we're going to brew some special beers to celebrate this location opening.
Yep.
We're going to name some beers after people, characters, Reading Railroad history, locomotives, things like that. So there's going to be some fun names coming along and some fun styles and comparisons that we're looking to do.
And for those of you out of town and play Monopoly, yes, it is the
It
Reading
is
Railroad.
that Reading
That's the
Railroad.
Reading Railroad. Yes.
And not the Reading Railroad.
Yeah, I have somebody
Yeah.
on Jeopardy say that once.
Yeah.
And should have lost
I
right away.
had my cousins lived in Tennessee, and when they would come visit us and we'd play Monopoly, they'd say, "Oh, the Reading Railroad." It's like,
Like, do
No,
you kn-
dude,
do you
like,
know
you're
where you are?
here.
Like, this is it. You're in this area.
It's not like reading Rainbow.
Yeah, yeah. So speaking of the old, I shouldn't say old, but the original location, I'm noticing a transportation theme overall because that was a car dealership, and now
Oh,
you are in a
touche.
train
That's
station.
true. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Is
about
the
that,
next going to be a hangar at the Reading Airport?
Oh, yes.
well,
Wait, didn't you?
actually,
You guys did a beer garden at the.
Well, we did, and
Yeah.
it's funny you mentioned you
During
tied all
World
that
War II
together
weekend.
because one of the partners at Saucony Creek, Rob, has an aviation company at the Reading Airport.
Of course. That's amazing.
So all of a sudden, it is planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, I guess so. It
Literally.
And horse and buggies.
And horse and buggies.
It sounds like a beer series: planes, trains, and automobiles.
Absolutely.
No, you already have the unicorns. Now you need the transportation series.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I love it. So we're talking about how beer is expanding here in Pennsylvania, but you guys are distributing well beyond Pennsylvania as of recently.
We are. We have just made our first shipment to the United Kingdom.
That's amazing.
Wow.
How did
That's
that
cool.
come about?
Yeah, so it was really, really cool story. This back in, I guess it was December of last year, a gentleman came in and had some beers, bought some beers, and then after he had some beers, he asked to speak to one of the owners, and I went over and spoke with him, and he said, well, I'm starting an importing company in the UK from Manchester, England, and I've traveled to the United States quite a bit. I'm retiring from my regular job, and a partner and I are going to start this importing company. We love IPAs. The UK is 5 to 10 years behind the United States in terms of IPAs, New England styles, and lactose and so forth styles. And we talked for a while, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's got a pretty good story. He's interested, but somebody comes up and says, I'm going to buy your beer and send it to the UK. And you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Okay, sure.
So he said, yeah, I'm going to be back for another trip to the States in February, and I'm going to continue visiting breweries. He said he had already visited a handful, and he had eliminated many of them, but Saucony Creek was absolutely, he wanted to import. So sure enough, he showed up in February. He was here for another 2 weeks. He stopped in. We had some additional discussions. He drank more beer. He loved it. Long story short, we received a purchase order, and we received money that dropped into the bank account, and we shipped the beer to the UK.
Wow.
That's insane.
So we're now in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
What
that's
beers
pretty
did you
crazy.
send?
So they're primarily interested in the IPAs.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we sent Unicorn and what was the other one? Geez, I'm forgetting right at the moment.
Insert other
Bronco.
beer name here.
I guess it was Bronco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Unicorn
Unicorn and Bronco.
And Bronco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
It was
of
Unicorn
Bronco,
You guys
Speaking of
thirsty?
Bronco.
look
Yeah.
at that
There we
transition.
go.
Ah.
So
Cool.
we got some pours here.
Here.
Pass that one down and pass that one down.
There you go.
So, Nick, you want to talk about the Bronco?
Yeah, the Bronco, it's a variation on our Unicorn series. It's New England style IPA. Kind of had this idea. There's, everybody who makes IPAs or drinks IPAs, they know how they're supposed to be made. Some aren't supposed to have lactose. Some aren't supposed to have this, or IPA's got to be traditional. It can't be this, that. It's like, well, you know what? Lactose goes really well with a lot of the tropical American hops, American hops that are grown up in the Pacific Northwest. I was like, well, it adds a bit of sweetness and it gives a nice creamy mouthfeel, and most people are familiar with New England style IPAs. Our Unicorn doesn't have any lactose at all, so I decided to go ahead and make the Bronco and make it super sweet, but yet drinkable and refreshing. Double dry, all the hops are added, post boil, double dry hops, and I figure like that back sweetness in some of the IPAs. It's nice to have it. Not every beer needs it, but I think it balances well with there's tons of flaked wheat, oats in there. Just get that big mouth feel and a little sweetness to back it up with all those tropical hops.
It's subtle. It's not super, like, it is
Right.
sweet, and it checks all those New England boxes. but it's not over the top, and I like that. I appreciate that it's super drinkable. Like you can crush this, as the kids say.
One of the things that we do at Saucony Creek, that as a home brewer, which I haven't homebrewed in years because I'm on the business side of it now, but I was always into brewing my beers balanced, And Nick used the word balanced earlier. I'm sorry, and that's resonated with me when we interviewed Nick, and he likes to make balanced beers, and that's what Nick's been doing, making balanced beers. We're not going to throw in 2,000 pounds of lactose in a beer to make it, super sweet and things like that. And I think you'll hear that again tonight. We're going to talk about balanced beers from Saucony Creek.
That's the way it should be. A lot of people, I still don't understand, and I'm not going to get on that soapbox, I promise, that people love the New England IPAs that have that super, super intense sweetness, and that ruins it for me. That takes me right out of it. This is delicious. The balance is there. The sweetness, you have it. It's the perfect amount.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I love this. This is great.
Yeah, and I think a good way to tell, or I like to design beers, and that first sip might be really good. The second might be good. But when you get to the bottom of the beer, what's important to me is that last sip is the best sip. That last sip is like, wow, I really want another one of those. And I think that's where the balance comes in. It's not that knock your socks off right away, like, holy shit, like, look, oh my God, what was that I just put in my mouth? But then 3 sips later, you're like, wow, I'm done with this.
I'm over it.
If I had a nickel for every time I asked myself that.
But it's like it's brewing for a pint, not a flight. I think,
exactly.
Is that sort of philosophy that totally.
Which could be tough when we make our 10-12% beers. It's like, well, you get done with that, you're like, oh man, I want another one of those.
That would be me.
Hold on.
So I noticed this is in cans.
Yes. So we started canning last, I guess it's August, roughly, I think. And we're doing a canning run roughly once a month. As I've heard you say on many podcasts, and as we've said, you got to do canning to be a cool kid, right?
It's true. Yeah, you definitely do.
I want my beers in cans.
So, we still have our bottling line, and there's still certain styles that we bottle, like Maple Mistress. She's going to stay in the bottle for a while. Maybe
some sexier beers still need to be in bottles. I'll agree with that.
Yeah. Like our Belgian Triple, same thing. That's going to stay in the bottle. But, packaging costs, as you know, are a lot less on cans, and especially the New England style IPAs. People want those in the can.
Yeah.
So you have to go where your market is, and we want to make sure that we're there. Right now, we're using Ironheart. They're probably the premier mobile canner in at least the eastern United States. Somewhere down the road, maybe there's a purchase of a canning line in our future, but Ironheart's doing a great job for us. So we're not in a rush to go buy our own canning line at this point.
Yeah, if it's working. And your cans are everywhere. I feel like whenever
I
go somewhere, whether it's a local grocery store or a bottle shop, or I was even in a beer distributor, like your cans are everywhere.
Yeah, yep. I just
even
saw,
the UK, apparently.
Yeah, I know, right?
I just saw Jeff, our salesman, walk in, and maybe we'll get him over here to talk about that for just a few seconds. But yeah, we're...
Hi, Jeff. Sit down in front of a microphone.
but he's busy drinking beer.
Jeff does a great job on the sales, and he's in touch with the customers. And so we get the products into the grocery stores. We're in 42 grocery stores, Wegmans, Whole Foods. We're working on another agreement with Whole Foods to maybe get some more products in there on a regular basis.
Can I suggest Acme?
Acme.
How are they not a sponsor yet?
Acme on Oregon Avenue in South Philadelphia.
Yes. Specifically that one. There are multiples.
Well,
I'd like to recommend them for consideration.
We do have distributing.
Luckily, you don't have stalkers, guys.
Yeah, right.
We do have distribution in the Philadelphia territory.
Yeah, you do.
Through our wholesale distributor, Shangy's.
Seeing your cans around. Yeah, just not at the Acme, but yeah, they're definitely around.
When's the last time we were at the Acme?
That's true. We don't really go to that.
You're Aldi shoppers now. Thank you very much.
Yeah. When the Aldi's finished remodeling, are they going to sell beer?
Not yet. It's
not in
thing.
Pennsylvania.
It's not part of. They're not doing that yet. Okay. All right.
No.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'd like to introduce
Hey, we
Jeff
know
for just
Jeff.
a second.
Hey,
we've had Jeff on.
What's up, Jeff?
At least once or twice, right?
Yeah. No.
Hi, guys. Right?
How's it
You've
going?
done this before. You know how this works.
Welcome back.
You're a podcast veteran now.
So Jeff was on. Can you hear? Jeff was on at Bruforia.
Yeah.
I think. Was that the only time, or were you on twice?
That was the only
That
time.
was it.
Was it
Okay.
really? Oh.
But you were on at Bruforia, and we saw you at Ephrata Brewfest last year because I got a really cool picture of you
That's
holding
right.
one of our little
Yes.
Beer Busters taster glasses.
I remember,
Yes.
yeah.
That's why I thought you were on twice.
Nice. Well, we're recording at Ephrata Brewfest this time, so if you're pouring,
I am not going to be there myself
Bummer.
this year. We are not going to be there this
I
year.
think we had a conflict there.
We did. We have many things going on that week.
Yeah.
You guys are too busy. There's a lot going on that
Yeah,
week.
Bonifest is the Bonifest is
Bonifest is
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Never mind.
Listen to that.
Hey,
Here
we
comes
got
the
a
train.
Yes! This is the best thing ever.
You're so
I
cool.
feel like I'm like 7 years old again right now.
There he
The
is.
excitement of a train coming through.
That's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, this is the
That's
coolest thing
pretty
ever.
cool. You should do a promotion where every time a train goes by, there's like a free round.
We are gonna do something
Or like a dollar
like
off a
that.
pint
$1
or something.
off or spin a
Okay,
wheel or
you know.
absolutely.
Someone
we have,
gets a free
we have
beer.
some
Not the
fun
whole
stuff
bar.
coming
That's
up.
not a good business model.
Start big and then make it realistic.
So Jeff, we were talking a little bit about distribution and whatnot, and do you want to say a few words about grocery store stuff that you're up to with the cans?
We're hoping to get our unicorn in a couple grocery stores out there. We're allowed to say who, right?
Yeah, sure.
Whole Foods we're working on, and a local guy, Redner's. We would love to see
cool.
Redner's.
That makes perfect sense.
I don't know if you guys know, Redner's has a new format over in Wyomissing, just to throw
Yes.
them a quick bone.
I've been through that store.
Yeah?
It's super
Right.
fancy now.
You got it.
It's no longer the warehouse market.
Thank you. It's not the
Oh.
warehouse. It's
No
the
longer.
marketplace.
It's just a
Yes.
marketplace. Nice.
Yes.
It's
Nice.
getting fancy.
It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like a wholesale club anymore. It
Nice.
feels like a posh grocery store.
So just so you know, I requested that train. I sat down. I wanted it to come, and there it
Good
was.
job. Good job.
Excellent timing.
You've got some power, I see.
Yes, yes.
I love it. I
This
love it.
is only the third time I've been in this building. These walls speak to you, and I'm sure you guys have talked about that already.
It's so beautiful.
It's so
beautiful.
awesome. Yeah.
So are you guys going to sell cans out of this location too?
Absolutely. So when we have a can release, it'll be a simultaneous release, Kutztown. So basically our routine is we can on a Wednesday or a Thursday, and then we release that beer on that Friday. So those can releases will take place here and Kutztown simultaneously.
Sorry, you said simultaneous release, and now I'm singing Red Hot Chili Peppers in my head.
So, and we plan on doing that. We'll have special beers down here for release. We might even do some special things we're thinking about. I'm probably not ready to talk about right now.
No,
Okay,
all
fair.
right.
That's
All right.
fair.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
They must be awesome though, because you look very excited.
Oh, yeah. We're
We like
having lots of
mystery.
fun.
We like mystery.
Foreshadowing. So you guys recently won a couple ribbons at the PA Farm Show.
Yeah, we actually a couple. Come on, Steph. It was
Four.
That's
Two
twice
couples.
as many as a couple.
Four. Twice as many as a couple.
Twice a couple.
Twice a couple. Double couple.
So the we won a couple of
What was
awards.
it,
Oh, see, you said it too.
yeah,
A couple. a couple. Okay, four.
Well, it was a couple.
A few, or a few plus one.
A couple squared.
Golden
Yeah.
plus one.
Golden Bear Pilsner.
Squabble.
Yeah,
Yes,
was it our
Pilsner.
Our Pilsner, our Doppelbock,
Nice.
ex-reserve
You
Doppelbock.
just said two of my favorite words.
Yeah,
A-
yeah.
Pilsner and Doppelbock.
Oak triple.
Ex-reserve Oak Triple,
Yeah.
and then also one of our unicorns stomping lantern flies, I believe, was the one that won.
Right.
in the,
Right.
Unicorn stuff.
And
IPA.
Oak triple got
IPA.
first place.
It did.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I mean, geez, it was a huge surprise to us. We just randomly out of the blue, Kirby grabbed some beers and sent them off to the farm show contest. This is the first year that the farm show was judging beers. They judge wine and ciders and that in the past, but this is the first year for beer. We got a letter in the mail stating, your brewery has won an award at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. We would like somebody to show up to and accept an award. All right, okay.
Wow, cool.
All right, great. Yeah, so we won an award. They didn't say anything about it. They didn't say what it was, what place it was. So Kirby asked me to go out there to Harrisburg, which was really nice. I took my family with me as my wife and my two kids and went out and did the whole farm show thing, and I said, oh, well, maybe before the award ceremony, I'll walk over to the table, and they have everything set up, and so I know which beer I want. I walk over there and I was like, oh, Doppelbock. Okay, that's cool. You know, we got a bronze for Doppelbock. I walk down. Oh, there's lanternflies too. Oh, we got 2. Shit. Is that a Golden Bear can there too? I'm like, holy shit. Wait, there's another X Reserve over there. Jeez, how the hell did we win 4 awards? So we were tickled. I mean, I was sending text messages after that, taking pictures and stuff. So we had a really good time. It was pretty awesome.
We love Nick. Nick can be kind of laid back, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
But that day, Nick was like text messages just flying from Nick.
I saw pure excitement in his eyes in those photos. It was awesome.
I believe
Hold
it.
on. I just had my last sip of the Bronco.
Okay.
The last sip was my favorite.
That was your favorite.
I'm
Was
not
it?
even kidding you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is not my beer style, guys.
No, it's not
Everyone
any
at
of
the
our
table
beers.
knows
Weird,
this.
it's weird to hear you say that
Because I
about
was like, yeah,
New
this
England.
is fine. This is fine.
I feel-
You know?
I
don't like
feel-
lactose IPAs. And then the last sip, I was like, oh, there was like this bright grapefruit, like,
Yeah. It drank really nice. I always feel awkward now when we taste like any kind of hazy IPA on the show because like we've kind of talked shit about
especially
that style.
since
Oh, I
Kirby
know.
listens to
I
our
know.
podcast.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the thing: if it's done right, it's good. That's the thing. This is done right.
Yeah. And hazy IPAs, they originally, you know, the 16-ounce cans, the Alchemist. You know, everybody
Yeah,
knows
well, I
Heady
mean,
Topper.
and like Heady Topper
It's like-
back in the day was
well,
the shit.
And the funny thing is, you know, Heady Topper, you read along the top, drink from the can. You
Yeah.
know why it's the reason why I
Don't
know
be a
why I say is
douchebag.
that
Drink from the can.
drink from the can so
No,
that you
it's gonna
don't
be
see
You don't see what it looks like.
so that you don't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
how hazy the
Yeah,
damn thing
exactly.
is. You know, like
Yeah,
nobody
so you're
wanted
like,
to see
this
haze
is
10 years ago.
Orange juice, not beer. Yeah.
So like drink it from the can. Please do not pour this into
Yeah.
a glass and look at it.
Don't look at it.
Do not make eye contact.
It's funny when we had Gene on from Tired Hands a little while back,
Right.
and you know they're really known for their milkshake,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
hazy, and all that kind of stuff. And he was talking about one of the beers that they make, and he's like, "It's ugly as hell, but it tastes really good." I was like, that's a very good point. It looks like shit, but it tastes great.
It's become so accepted,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it has.
I mean, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, you would serve someone a beer like that. That would be a disgrace. Like,
Right.
Don't let it piss you off.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
that was Gene.
I remember from my early
Speaking
homebrewing
to me.
days, you're like, you can't. Haze was a defect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it still is.
Unless it was a Hefeweizen or
Yeah.
a
Right.
wheat beer.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
why you would
Yeah.
add flour
Yep.
if it was a hefe,
Mhm.
which Gene taught us about.
Yes, I didn't. I did not know
I
that
didn't
there
know
was an
either.
actual use for it.
Speaking
we
of
could
beers,
say many more.
We have another.
You gave
beer
us
in our
more beer.
cups.
More
What is
beer
this?
here. So this beer is a variation on the Golden Bear Pills that won the award at the State Farm Show, and it's double dry hopped
Ah.
Golden Bear
wow.
I
Pills.
get like a hint of vanilla.
Yeah, it's actually oak aged. It's double dry hopped.
The oak, that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, there's it was aged just 4 or 5 weeks on toasted American honeycomb. So after primary fermentation, I transferred a small portion of our Golden Bear into we have a small 10-barrel tank fermenter. Hung up some toasted American oak and let it just sit there and basically lager for about 4 or 5 months, I'm sorry, 4 or 5 weeks, not months. That'd be a long time. And then, you know, right towards the end, before packaging, we dry hopped it again, traditional German hops. But yeah, I think it's a nice marriage, really, between the sweetness of the Pilsner malt, the vanilla oakiness, and then also the floral hops. So I mean, those three. Well, I guess it wouldn't be a marriage. I guess you could call that like a threesome, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a Mormon,
Menage a trois.
Yes.
it's a
Menage a
Mormon
trois.
marriage.
But again, I mean, the end result is, you know, something that's balanced. So you get a little bit of hint of the oakiness and, you know, the sweet malt character coming through with the floral hop notes.
Yeah, a lot of.
I love this beer. I'm just gonna say that.
It's really good. A lot of wooden flowers, not wooden flowers. Wood and flowers, or wooden flowers, I guess. Really nice. Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, and the Golden Bear Pills is, you know, we're always trying to source things locally. You know, yeast is a very difficult thing to source locally. We won't mention Schmidt's name, but it's a now defunct a brewery down in Philadelphia that we source the yeast from.
Nice.
So it has that more local American flavor in the lager yeast.
There's a couple of interesting things about the beer here. The name, you know, so Nick was talking about local and so forth, and Golden Bear Pills has a very specific connection to the Kutztown area, and I'm going to let Jeff talk about that.
So obviously, Kutztown is the second biggest business besides Decca and Saucony in Kutztown. So we have to do acknowledge them. So the Golden Bear Pilsner, and we put it in a can, which isn't real sexy, and I'm glad people love
Cans are sexy. Pilsners
They
and
are
cans
so
are
sexy.
sexy.
Putting it in a can is sexy.
And it is.
That needs to be on the soundboard.
the note has been made. Don't worry.
That's
Thank
the
you.
best.
So $1 per case went to Kutztown University scholarships, which I'm really proud. I was a student there, and it's just great to make that connection. And it's a great beer. Nick hit it. Our great-grandparents would have been sipping this Pilsner back pre-pro.
Oh, yeah.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
That's
talking,
cool.
I noticed it is labeled as a pre-prohibition style.
Pre-prohibition.
Those are a lot of words to say.
Yeah.
Pilsner. What makes it pre-prohibition?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
It sounds cool.
Because it sounds cool.
It sounds cool.
I'm okay with that answer.
That's fine. It sounds cool.
Yeah, I mean the recipe was it's geared a little bit more to, and there's pre-prohibition lagers, there's pre-prohibition pilsners.
Right.
It's a little higher in alcohol. The malt is slightly different than a German style pilsner, and the local American lager yeast I think has a lot to do with it too, because prior to Prohibition, a lot of those beers were being made with those styles of yeast. So it's a combination of different things. But I mean, we put a little twist on it with the German hops and the dry hopping, and this beer actually being double dry hopped, which is kind of unique for a pilsner.
The beer took third place at the farm show competition, and we are damn proud of taking third place.
Yeah.
Right? And why? Because Trogs took first place. Stouts took second place.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And Saucony Creek took
third.
third
Oh, that's
place.
awesome.
For a Pennsylvania Pilsner.
bet.
That's good company to be
Yeah,
in.
It's good company, and
Right.
we'll take that any day.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure.
That's cool.
Stouts pills.
Stouts pills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I got distracted.
Scarlet Lady. Some Scarlet Lady.
This is so good.
Yes.
I don't want it to be finished.
Well, while Steph nurses the last few sips of that one, we also have another beer that came to the table.
Yeah.
So this one is, yes, another Pennsylvania Farm Show winner. This one is the Peach and Ginger. I'm sorry, not Farm Show winner. Great American Beer Fest
Ooh.
gold medal winner.
Well,
Just
now.
a
How did
little
I
bit.
mess
Just
that
a
up?
little bit.
Jeez. Just trying to downplay it.
That was a subtle flex right there.
Yeah. 2015 gold medal winner. Nick came up with this recipe, and everybody loved it at the brewery. And it was another one of them that said, "I'm going to enter this. I'm going to put this into GABF." Sent it out there, and we had a booth that year at GABF. I was out there. I guess there were about 6 or 7 people, and we went to the awards ceremony. Really not expecting to win anything. We thought that Peach Ginger was our best chance at winning it. And they announced bronze, and it wasn't us. And I'm like, well, that's it. We don't have anything. They announced silver. Yep, for sure, we don't have anything. And then they announced Saucony Creek as a gold on the Peach and Ginger Saison, and we just were shell-shocked.
Yeah.
You know? And so then the text started. We're texting Nick, and,
Especially
And,
because, and it's not an obscure category. I mean, it's not IPA, but it's not an obscure, weird style that, there's only, 4 entries anyway.
Right. Yeah. It was the fruited Belgian ale, or was it Belgian Saison category? I don't even remember exactly.
Fruited Belgian Saison.
Yeah,
Fruited Belgian
Saison.
Saison.
Yeah, and that's there's a
category.
million of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is the medal hanging in Kutztown?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I think I said this when we were at Saucony in Kutztown last time. I don't know that I would have ever put peach and ginger together, but it works so incredibly well. This beer is delicious. It deserves gold.
Yeah, the original idea, basically, I wanted to make a ginger saison. It wasn't the peach wasn't really involved at the time of brew day, believe it or not. Brewing it and sampling it in the fermenter and pulling samples, testing the gravity, the pH, this and that, and the aromatics of it. I was like, well, you know what, the esters, they're there, but they could really be complemented, I think, by a fruit. And at the time, I was like, well, I think peach and ginger might actually work well with the esters that come out of this Saison yeast, and there you have it. I mean, we put it together, people loved it, we entered it, and
the rest is history.
Yeah. And blew it away.
Yeah, this is great.
This is really very refreshing.
I was just gonna say that.
Perfect for
Refreshing.
by the pool or.
Can I point out I love that Kirby is producing this episode right now? This is like the best thing ever.
Waving everybody over, getting all the beers for
A
us.
lot going on behind the
He's
scenes.
just
He's
keeping
just like
this
orchestrating.
moving,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I love it.
This is like the
She
first.
can talk. It's
Oh,
okay.
okay. All right.
She made a very valid point.
But
We'll
she's
be
right.
honest.
We haven't eaten yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is very true.
So one of the things that we're going to be doing here is having some great food.
Yes.
And Martha is our executive chef. So maybe, Martha, what you might want to do is get a couple plates of your specialties that you prepared.
Yes.
Bring them over here to the table.
You got it.
And then you'll have a
Chef will
seat
pass
and you're
the
going to
baton.
talk about your food.
Two of each.
Sounds great.
Sounds
So
good. All
Martha will
right.
be back in a couple seconds.
I was gonna say,
Love
this
it.
is probably the
Love
first
it.
episode we've ever done that actually could be live.
Yeah, pretty much.
We didn't like stop to talk about what we were doing at all. Everything just
Kirby
kept
is
going.
just like, he knows how this works.
Yeah.
That's the best thing ever when you record
but-
with people that know how this runs.
Right now, my helpers are all eating food, and
Yeah,
they're not
yeah,
seeing
they're
me
all-
They can
waving
have help
to
food.
get the
Fine.
next beer.
You can always get Rich. If you just yell Rich, he'll do
Yeah,
whatever
that's
you
true.
need.
Yeah, right.
See, I told you.
Perks are right
Wait,
up.
we need like a bat signal
The
for him.
spouses are all coming. The spouses are flocking.
Yeah.
He was trying to get their attention. I said, just call Rich. He'll get what you need.
Food was a good idea, I'm sure.
Yes.
Because how many beers are we in?
Yeah.
4 right now.
Okay.
4. I mean, we've only done like, you know.
You know, I think we might have asked
Short
this
pours.
too when
Short
we were
pours.
at the Kutztown location, but I'm sure it would apply here. Considering there is food and there's beer, are there beer dinners and food pairings and such?
Yeah, so we do some of that stuff occasionally up in Kutztown. We haven't done a lot of it. It's something that we want to do, and we're going to try to do more of it here. To be very, very honest, we did some of those things up in Kutztown. We had a marginal turnout, and I think it's because, to be honest, the location in Kutztown, it's rural
Right.
and so forth. There has been a lot of interest expressed here in Reading to do beer food pairings. I did something last summer. I did a wine beer pairing.
Whoa.
So I took, I think it was 5 beers and 5 local wines, and did a compare and contrast. It's if you want to look at it this way, a really light champagne style wine with, say, a very light beer like Hexerai, our Belgian wit. Go through all of those, and then at the very end, you're like with a big bold Zin and a stout. And it's amazing when you taste those things and you start looking at them. I like the words compare and contrast between those styles. So I think we're going to be doing more of that stuff here, where there's a bigger target
Well,
audience.
and this feels like a special place to come. Like this
Yeah.
feels like a special event space. And I want to come and have Valentine's Day dinner here.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like especially if you work it out right, like it's a special dinner before a really nice show. I mean, you could collaborate with the arena. I mean, how amazing would that be? Come and have an awesome beer and wine dinner here, and then go to a show, like the ultimate date night,
Right.
especially around like Valentine's Day or something like that. I mean, I want to dress up and come here and like have a date here. I'm telling you that. So please make that happen.
We'll make it happen for you. Yeah, those things are all in the planning. We're not going to be doing that the first month or two because we're still, getting the
right.
gears rolling and getting everything meshing. But we absolutely recognize what you're saying here is an event space.
Do
and a
ballroom
lot of
dancing
stuff.
here.
Ballroom dancing.
Pull all the tables
that'd be
away.
cool.
Like a
Yeah.
50s themed dance night or
Well,
something. Oh my gosh.
So I shouldn't say this
possibilities are
because
endless.
I'm giving away some secrets, but
Uh-oh.
Pulling it out
I
of you.
have
Pulling it
this
out of you.
idea of an escape room related to
Oh.
beer and prohibition.
Oh my god.
Right, and we've got
That would be
some
so
passages
fun.
and some basement cellar things going on here. and
That's cool.
We could do so. Maybe you'll see an escape room
Halloween could be fun here too.
coming.
Just
Yeah.
saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless with how amazing this spot is.
I would do that escape room.
Yeah.
That'd be
That
cool.
would be so cool.
Yeah.
I want to do every event.
I'm terrible at escape rooms, but I want to do that.
Are we
'Cause
ready?
I'm good at drinking.
Are we ready for another beer?
Sure.
Yeah, let's
Of
have
course.
another beer.
I'm always ready
So-
for
We
another
still
beer.
have all these, the rest of these, Jeff. I think
This is
Kirby's trying to
the
get us drunk.
bourbon barrel aged Belgian triple.
Well.
Oh,
All
Shiza.
right.
Well,
gonna go.
Small pour.
I'm in. That
Small
does
on this one.
not look like it would be bourbon barrel aged anything, and that is dangerous.
Well, it's Belgian, so.
Still. Oh, the aroma. Steph, would you want more?
No.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
It's holding up nicely.
Very nice.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
So we don't do a lot of barrel aging, but we kind of pick some styles and some barrels. We have some friends over at Northeast Barrel Company. The brewer guys will be familiar with Pat's company. And every once in a while, hey, Pat's got some pretty cool barrels, and hey, Nick, you want to do some barrel aging? And Nick says, sure.
Right. Yeah. It's it's interesting with bourbon barrels. The flavors of a stout mixed in with it, and barley wines are popular to age. But with this particular beer, the Belgian yeast, I think, goes really well with those vanilla oaky flavors, and it kind of like mellows it out a little bit. Belgian triple's a little big. It's alcoholic. Has a lot of that spicy character, but then aged in the oak, I think mellows it out, and it's just a really nice contrast. Just adds another dimension to the beer. I thought it would go well, and it's obviously been a hit so far.
Yeah, I've had my fair share of bourbon barrel aged beers. I'll be totally honest.
Also, the bourbon that was in the barrels
and the bourbon,
before the beer.
And, gnawing on the wood too from the barrel.
Yeah, you would do that.
What gets me with ones that are not very well done, not very well executed, is that the heat makes you shudder when you get it. It's too much. It's a shock. This has a fair amount of heat. It's balanced out by all of the flavor that you would want. There's no shudder involved. And it's just all this fuzzy, warm feeling. And I love it so much.
I think that's a compliment.
It is.
no
I mean it in
shudder.
the best possible way. There's no. When I get the heat that I want out of it, the flavor that I want out of it, and all the happy feelings that I want from beer in general.
All the happy feelings.
And we're happy that you're happy.
Warm and fuzzy is a great description.
Yeah,
I like that.
Oh, it's layered. It's complex. It is. Oh, it's if not perfect, it's damn near it.
Yeah, it's a great style to age in bourbon barrels, I think. It's a lot of the golden ales, American Goldens, and some of these other beers that aren't dark and malty. There's definitely some room to play with them, I think, in barrel aging.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I've been in Steph's basement.
Yes.
That sounded.
I don't know if that's good to say or not. Right?
I almost did a spit take.
Now
That's
I want
true, though. That's
I
true.
want to find out and
You have
maybe
been in
go
my
to
basement.
Steph's
Steph's basement. Yeah, it sounds like
It's
like
also-
a website,
it's also-
stephsbasement.com.
It's also known as the Beer Busters podcast. Business.
Yeah, that's our studio.
That is
And-
where the podcast was born.
So she has a shrine to craft brewing in the basement. And how many
Well,
growlers
the-
growlers do you have there?
The growlers, 200, 300.
Yeah, close
Yeah.
to 200.
So we need to give Steph and the Beer
Oh,
Busters team a Saucony Creek
sign.
tin tacker
that's
featuring
awesome.
the unicorn.
Featuring another
Awesome.
mode of
Nice.
transportation.
That's amazing.
Perfect for the basement. That's perfect for the basement.
the Amish guy in the buggy being pulled by a unicorn.
That's amazing.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
We will hang this with pride.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
So some food has arrived, but the chef is not here.
Yeah, she's
I know. I gotta fight myself.
Martha. Where are
I
you?
gotta not eat it.
I think she may be bringing another. I think
Oh,
she
there's
prepared
more.
2 dishes, so I'll let her talk about this. But she made this in New York City, and I saw this when we interviewed her. And this particular dish, shrimp and grits, is like on my list of all-time greats.
This was the you're hired.
So it's like
dish.
you're hired.
Yeah.
You're here, babe. That's it.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
We've got another beer here if we're ready.
Hey,
Anybody ready?
I can be.
You literally saw me take the last sip of the trip.
Exactly. I was watching.
So while we're talking about
Belgian, exactly.
Yes.
So we're going to jump back into the IPA side of the world. This is our Belgian Imperial IPA, and this was an older Saucony recipe. And Nick decided to reboot, and we can call this Belgian Imperial IPA 2.0, right, Nick?
Yeah, I guess this would be the 2.0. Yeah, the second time that we brewed this. I think it's about 4 years ago or
Yeah,
so.
it's about 4 years ago.
Yeah, we brewed the Belgian IPA. It's basic Belgian ale yeast with American hops. It's just hopped to the gills, basically, with what you would expect from American IPAs, but yeah, with that Belgian spicy yeast character, different from the peach and ginger, and different from the Belgian triple that we just tried. one of those beers that it's pretty well balanced, a little bit of caramel malt in there, but dry enough where the hop tropical flavors come out. There's some citron, some mosaic, and kind of those more fancy hops that we just can't get a hold of nowadays anymore.
Right, yeah.
But, last year when we brewed this, there's on the spot market is where we get most of our hops from. Citra was fairly cheap at $17 a pound. We're up to like $40, $50 a pound now, which is freaking crazy. But fortunately for this beer, we had some decent hops, and it's at 8%, so we upped it up the hops in the whirlpool. Double dry hopped is about a 3.5 week beer for those hops to take effect in the secondary, and I decided to go for it in the 16-ounce cans.
Right. Because everybody likes it in the can.
Of course.
A little variation, from
There
a
it is.
New England style in a can. So the Belgian IPA has been, well received.
I like the label. It's very ska.
Yes, it is.
That is so true. That is so true. I love the beer.
It is really nice.
Yes.
I think
Obviously.
it's quite delightful.
Yeah, Nick was talking about we buy a lot of our hops on the open market, the spot market.
Right.
I have an admission to make. We got wrapped up a number of years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, in you got to buy hop contracts. You got to buy contracts.
Right,
Contracts.
yeah.
And because everybody was afraid you're going to run out of Cascade, you're going to run out of this, you're going to run out of that. And then it didn't happen. And for brewery our size, maybe some others will disagree with this, brewery our size, buying hop contract was the worst thing you could ever do.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, and they're difficult to come by nowadays too. For some of the like Galaxy or the Mosaics, Citra, or any Nelson Sauvin for one down in New Zealand. I mean, it's really difficult to get a contract for that. And on the spot market nowadays, they're going for double the price they were last year. I mean,
Wow.
It's pretty difficult for us to hit our margins and get some of these beers out there, some of these IPAs that are what people want nowadays at a reasonable price.
I thought your admission was going to be that you acquired hops on the black market instead of the open market.
That would be nice.
Illegal hops.
Jeff, they're kicking you out.
All right,
Sorry,
Jeff's
Jeff.
kicked off the
You're
podcast.
gone. You're done. She's go-
She needs a beer.
We
have
have
plenty of beer.
There's lots of beer here.
I'm terrible at reading lips, just so you know.
You're
okay? Like,
All the headphones except those pair are very cheap. The ones that
okay.
they have are expensive. The rest of them are cheap.
These are cheap?
Those are cheap.
No
yeah.
problem then. I'll
Yeah.
sit on
You
them
sit
again.
on them. Yep. All you want. Sit on them all you want. Well, that's a hell of an introduction. So we now
really
have Martha with us.
Yeah,
Yes.
executive chef here at Saucony Creek.
Yes.
And I have to admit, I took a bite of some of the grits
Yes.
in the shrimp and grits, and my God, they're incredible.
Thank you.
Holy crap.
I made them for Kirby tonight
Thank
because
you.
when he interviewed me, he said, "You just touched my heart when you won that award for the best shrimp and grits in New York City." So I was like, you know what? I got to do it for him.
Oh, it's great. I love it.
This is delicious.
Thank you, Martha.
No
Love it.
problem.
I also have to point out that we have another special guest at the table, somebody who doesn't get behind a microphone very often. Rich is sitting in for Steph, so he can talk about the
What's
food.
up?
Rich,
I
my
love
God.
it. I love food.
I know you do. This is awesome.
Yeah, but where's your sonic animal?
And this is really good food, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Thank
is
you,
really
thank you, thank you. I enjoy what I do. I love my craft.
Good.
So, Martha, you talked about winning awards in New York City.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about your history and how you came to Saucony?
Well, I came to Reading a year and a half ago, officially. My husband and I purchased a home here in Center Park, and it's just we fell in love with the area, and we just saw that it was definitely needed. It needed some sprucing up. You know what I mean? It needed people to come in here and love it again the way it used to be loved. And we came in here with the the heart and love to just bring this home back to life and just be a part of up and coming Reading. And that's really what we're all about right now. And when I found Saucony, I was excited. I was like, oh my God, this is my family. This is my new family. They want to bring up the area like we did in Brooklyn. And, I fell in love with it. And I says, listen, I need to be a part of this family. And here I am.
So, mentions of New York and also obviously your accent.
Yes.
What were you up to before in New York before you came down to Reading?
Well, I've been an executive chef for many years. I've been in the restaurant business over 30 years. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York City, my whole life. And I've been in the restaurant business. I came up from hostessing to serving to, prepping to in the kitchen. My dad told me one day, he says, what are you doing? I was going to college and I was serving.
What are you doing going to college?
He's like, what are you doing? I was going to college for stenography. He goes, what are you doing that for? I says, well, they make good money. He's like, do you love that? I'm like, no. He's like, you love to cook. I'm like, yeah. He's like, go to culinary school. What the hell are you doing? So I says, all right.
Yeah.
and I went to culinary school, and here I am,
Thank
And
goodness.
it's just, I love what I do. That's it.
We brought Martha in for chef trials. After the initial interview, we narrowed the candidates down to 3 candidates. Brought them all in for the chef trials, and Martha just blew us away with the flavors, the creativity, just everything. And we almost did like a Iron Chef challenge of sorts, I guess you could call it, where we brought them in and said, you got to use everything in our kitchen.
Right.
You can look at everything, but you can't bring your own ingredients, and you've got to make it on the fly from what you've got here. Martha makes ricotta cheese on the fly.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I came in with my knife.
Just casually making ricotta cheese.
Yeah, exactly. We're like,
That's amazing.
oh yeah, she's the one.
So I got to say about the shrimp and grits again. I don't like shrimp. I don't like seafood, and I was kind of hesitant. Like I was going to eat it just see what it's about.
Right.
I love the shrimp in this.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
It was really good, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
you.
the
This
sauce
might
is
make
amazing.
this might make me a shrimp eater, and that's a lot.
There you go.
Oh my God.
That means a lot. It's
So-
just what I love to do. Goodness.
Oh,
It makes me
it's
so
great.
happy to
Oh my
feed
God.
and for people to love, what I do. It's, it's just, it makes me happy to see you, everyone
And the
else
grits.
enjoy what I do.
The grits are awesome.
It makes me happy.
Grits are really good. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
So I've had shrimp and I've had grits. I don't know if I've ever had them yet together.
Yeah.
Is this?
You've never been to the South, have you?
I was going to say, is this like a traditional Southern dish,
It's
putting
a
shrimp and grits?
it's
I
a
guess
s-
anything in grits is, but
It's a Southern dish, but what I did was I made it New American.
okay.
So, New American, I did guajillo, arbor peppers, and that's what I did. Actually, my husband and I came up with that chili sauce together. Yeah.
so
Delicious.
good.
Yeah, thank you.
So good.
And, one day I says, you know what, I'm doing shrimp and grits for dinner because I used to do shrimp and grits for brunch when I did my brunch menu. And he was like, yeah, I think it's a good idea. And then I says, I'm going to throw that chili sauce in there. Forget about it.
Yeah. Awesome. And you also competed locally in Iron Chef, I
Yes,
think, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I did. I competed in Iron Chef here at in Sinking Springs
Spring.
for Wilson
Yeah.
High School.
Yep.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
They gave us theater popcorn, and I went ahead and made pasta
Awesome.
on the
Pasta
fly,
on the fly.
with popcorn. So
That's great.
It was great. It was
Yeah.
great. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. So we love Martha's creativity. It's just
Thank you.
again, all I can say is she sold herself in the interview and then in the chef's trial. We're like, holy crap.
Thank you, Kirby.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm so happy to be a part of it.
That's great.
I mean,
we're really excited.
So
Rich,
while-
what do you think?
and then
Rich is getting secret messages.
yeah.
A question just came to me. What else is going to be on the menu? So what are
Oh.
some of the other items?
Question just
I want to say that 75% of the menu has Saucony Creek beer in it.
Oh, that's good.
So I use almost every single beer that we make.
She did that at the chef's trial. She
Yeah, I
used our
did.
beer in the chef's trial.
In every single dish
Win
that
my-
I did.
Win our affection, right?
Yeah. I was like, I'm using, because when we interviewed, I says, I love using beer to cook.
Yep.
And when I came in, I was like, okay, let me taste the beers, and that's it. And we did it. So, just an example, we're doing a baby back ribs that's done with our delicious Schnickel Fritz?
Snickle Fritz, yes.
Chocolate cherry stout.
And
Yep.
it's just
See, even
amazing.
From Brooklyn, she can speak Dutch.
You gotta learn, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be a chameleon no matter where you go.
This is true. Yep.
So another question just hit me because I know there's some vegetarians out there. Will there be some vegetarian
Oh goodness,
options?
we have vegan, we have vegetarian, we have keto options. Keto
That's awesome.
is it keto?
Keto,
or
I don't
keto?
even know what that means.
It's like this diet going on.
I know
where-
that much.
You eat
Right.
it and you lose like
Okay.
100 pounds.
After that, I'm lost.
It's true. You eat it and you lose like 100 pounds. And it's
The next
basically
day.
you just eat protein like there's no tomorrow, and cheese,
Wasn't that like
and that's
Atkins and the same thing?
it. Same thing, a different name.
I've eaten protein like there's no tomorrow my
2019
entire life.
Atkins. That's what
And
it
I
is.
turned out like
2019
this.
Atkins. Yeah, there you go.
2019
there's a beer
Atkins,
coming your way.
exactly. But
There's more cups.
Listen, we have a delicious. I'm doing beer battered avocado tacos
That
What?
sounds awesome.
Really?
with a grilled fresh corn salsa, which is out of this world.
Oh.
And it's
I haven't had
vegetarian.
it, and I'm already ready.
And
for
let
it.
me tell you, it'll make you a vegetarian, even if you don't want to eat vegetables. You're going to eat it.
I like,
You know what I'm saying?
I like bacon too much to be a vegetarian, but I will try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really
you're
good.
gonna love our bacon jam burger,
well,
made with our local bourbon.
That's what she made. for
Let's
one
talk
of the
about
chef
that for a
trials.
Yep.
very long time.
Yeah. At my trail for Kirby, that was one of the things I came up with. I was like, okay, we have bacon, we have bourbon, local bourbon. So I did a bacon jam burger, and it's out of this world, done with fresh Hershey ground beef. So it's local. It's just beautiful. Everything is just amazing on that burger. Swiss.
My wife made a comment. She came to the trials as well,
Yeah.
and she took one bite, and she said, "I would drive 100 miles for this burger."
She did. She told me that.
I would
So I
drive
said-
100 miles.
I'm going to say right, Steph, I will make you a deal. I know you're not on a microphone. I will eat the avocado thing if you try the burger.
I will eat the avocado thing.
No.
Damn it.
Steph,
I'll still try the
I
avocado.
haven't eaten meat in over 15 years.
Yeah,
Steph-
no time like the present.
has swung back and forth between vegan and vegetarian, but yet never done meat.
We also have a delicious marinated portobello mushroom in our stout. Also in our Schnickel Fritz.
Nice.
It's marinated in that with balsamic vinegar. Delicious with smashed avocado. Also,
Yeah.
you know what? Avocado's delicious. It's like
It
a
is.
great fat. And you put some chipotle in there, and we're having a party, right?
Well, Martha made a couple comments there. Brings up a really good point. I'd like to emphasize.
Yeah.
You know, not only are we about like crafting local beers, we're about crafting local food.
Local food.
And you know, it's all local, and we have like 24 farms we deal with.
Yep.
Where we get our ingredients locally within a 30, 40, 50
Yep.
mile radius, and a lot of them are right here in Berks County.
That's right. It's
I
a
got
beautiful thing.
I got a Facebook message last week from the local Cisco rep. People might know who Cisco is. They're the big, multinational.
We
food
don't use 'em.
conglomerate. We don't use them. And this person was like, I've been trying to get into Saucony Creek for a year to get Cisco in there, and I just found out that you're one of the owners. Can we get together and talk about it, and I can sell the benefits of Cisco? And I'm like, I sent him, and I wasn't even, polite. I just said no.
Hell
No.
no, we
No.
won't go.
It's like, we believe in craft beer. We
Yeah.
believe in local beers. We
That's right.
support, all the local craft. We're craft brewers in this area in Berks County, and the same goes with the food. We want to
That's
support
right.
the local farmers.
110%.
I have a soft spot in my heart for farming. My ancestors did a lot of farming, and when I see the plight that the farmers are in today, I see shout out to our farmer who takes our spent grain,
Yes.
Dalton, and the struggles Dalton goes through every day. because dairy prices are in the shitter. It's just really bad. So we want to do what we can to support the local community, and we follow through with it by buying local, right, Martha?
That's right, 110%. The whole menu is done from scratch, local vegetables, fruit, meat, fish, everything is local and farmed right here in Berks County.
Including at the brewery. This year, we put in a small garden.
Oh, cool.
And we're we've got some tomatoes and
everything.
Spices and herbs and all sorts of stuff in there.
We have all sorts of herbs,
we can say
spices.
the food comes from our backyard.
That's right. That's right.
So is it time to eat the taco yet? Or
I took a bite. All right.
Rich is all about the taco.
Can we eat the stonefly taco?
Yeah, I was going to say two things. One was whichever beer we're handing out right now is incredible. It's great, and I know we're going to talk about that.
That's right. We started another beer.
We did. Very quickly, what beer is this?
So this is Dad Jokes.
Dad jokes.
Brute IPA.
Yes, a Brute IPA.
Okay.
It's delish.
It's delicious, and we'll circle back to it, I think. The taco. I took a bite. I cheated. I took a bite before everybody else.
Did you try it with the hot sauce?
That was going to be my next step.
There you go.
I may or may not have shed a tear.
What I really like about the food is it's like food that we know, but it's like up a couple notches. It's really good, but then I like the extra stuff on top. Like I like shrimp with cocktail sauce with my shrimp, but this is like super duper.
It's like nicer than cocktail sauce.
It's so much better. I feel
the right amount of
I feel like
spice,
fancy.
too.
We
Yeah.
did it, and
Nice
it's
spice.
perfect.
Yeah, it
How does it
doesn't-
compare to the Sonic Animal?
Well, much better. And even like on the tacos, like the pickled onions and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, the onions are awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
awesome.
just simple food. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about. It's just letting the ingredients just shine by themselves.
Goodbye, everybody.
That's
I'm gonna
it.
let Steph back in now. Everything's that way I can finish eating my food.
All right. Thanks for sitting in, Rich.
Thank you, Rich.
Good meeting you.
Welcome back, Steph. We're going to eat some meat for a
Steph.
minute. I hope you don't mind.
No, you're all good. I ate some of those pickled red onions, and they're so amazing.
Thank you. I could give you grits. Are you vegan or vegetarian?
That's a good question. Steph, are you vegan or vegetarian?
Yeah, which is it?
Depends on the day.
Okay. If you're vegetarian, then you can have the grits.
Oh, I will
The
have
grits,
to try the
With
grits.
some of
grits
the
are phenomenal.
sauce.
The grits
So
are
I
incredible.
really do want to try that sauce because you describing it, you said a lot of words that I love.
Yeah.
My brother lives in New Mexico, so
okay.
I've fallen in love with moles and chili sauces. And
yeah.
it's like Mexican food on the East Coast is good, but like New Mexican food is
Right.
like,
Right.
they have entire aisles of dried chilies in
Yeah.
their grocery stores.
Yeah, I
It's
love
amazing.
Look
dried
at
chilies.
me. Red iguana.
Oh my God, I know. In Salt Lake City, legit the best mole on this planet.
Absolutely.
The best mole on the planet.
Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, that's
So many
your challenge.
moles.
You need to make a mole
I could
like they
too.
make in Utah.
We're
I
going to
could
call
make a
that
jam
Steph's
and mole.
challenge.
Chef's challenge.
Okay.
And it has to be vegetarian though.
Okay.
It has to be because
I
their
could do
moles are vegetarian. I mean, you can
got
get
it.
meat on, with them, but their actual moles are vegetarian. And
I'll
unreal.
do it. That's
Unreal.
it. When are you coming back so I have it?
As
for
soon
you?
as the moles, let's admit, I'll be here all the time, but I will be here when the mole is here.
All
That's
right,
for
don't
sure.
worry about it. I'll call you when it's done, all right?
I love her. I think she's my new best friend. Oh my gosh, I love it. I still have the onion in my mouth, and I'm in love.
Good.
They put pickled red onions on top of their mole dishes too. Your red onions would work.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wayne and Dan are just like hunched back, like
They're just eating. They're
I have
speechless.
I have no words. I have no words.
this is so exciting. This is what we've been begging for here. This is amazing. And Kirby continues
well, we
to
got
produce.
it then.
I think they're sold.
We got it. Kirby, we did it. Okay.
All right. Awesome. I'm producing here. I'm like telling my assistant here to get the next beer.
She's not just your assistant.
She's my daughter, my beautiful
She's
daughter,
your
Kelsey.
gorgeous daughter. Yes.
She actually looks
And
like
assistant.
you.
Yeah, but prettier.
That's okay. I'll go with that. I'll give you a 10 on that one.
I have.
She's our beer runner.
I got to ask, what's in the hot sauce? Are you will you divulge secrets? You don't have to. I don't know if it's a secret.
Sure,
if
of
it's
course.
All right.
Which one?
The whichever one you handed me.
That's actually done at Kutztown.
Okay.
That's the chef at Kutztown that
Okay.
makes that. My
Okay.
hot sauce will be different.
Okay.
Although that is delicious.
I'm looking forward to your hot sauce.
And that's why
Shout
I
out
bought
to
it
Mike
here.
Richmond in Kutztown. Our
That's
Yes.
right.
head chef in
Mike,
Kutztown.
Mike. That's his hot sauce.
Well, Mike, you have a great hot sauce.
Yes, yes.
However, you did not turn me into a shrimp eater.
Aw, Mike.
When you were describing that mushroom earlier, I don't like mushrooms either.
Yeah.
I trust you implicitly. Whatever you put in front of me, I will eat at this
You
point.
will eat it, right?
Yes.
See,
Trust me.
Dan is
You
one of those
will
people.
Eat it.
Dan is a very picky eater, but I think he's only a picky eater because he thinks he doesn't like stuff.
No,
Right.
I've had mushrooms that were downright terrible, and
Yeah.
So you will
Yeah.
try
Yeah.
her marinated
I
portobello?
will absolutely
right.
try that.
I
It is
like-
on record.
Listen to
Okay,
me.
but let me say this. I like seafood. I like mushrooms.
Right.
I've had seafood and I've had mushrooms that were terrible. It doesn't mean that those things are inherently terrible. You've just haven't had the good ones.
I don't know. I've had a lot of mushrooms that I haven't.
You
had.
haven't had it done right.
You
That's
haven't-
what it is.
Haven't had Martha's.
That's right.
Yes.
And that is why I will
110%.
have
That's
have
right.
Martha's mushrooms.
You'll have my everything.
Yes.
Just don't worry
Yes.
about it, all right? Just come here.
I'm in.
I
I'm
love
in.
it. I love it.
I got you.
You know what? I love that both Saucony locations completely have their own identity.
They do.
That is
It's
so
true,
exciting.
yeah.
Like the food in Kutztown is like comfort food. It's like
Right.
pub food. It's like I'm hanging out. I'm doing trivia. It's like I'm doing
Exactly.
snaps with Dow. Like that's usually what I'm doing when I'm at Saucony.
Right.
Like it's like good comforting food, but I feel like this is an elevated space and it needs its own identity. And I love that. That's exactly what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
That
I'm
was
so
part of our
excited.
plan. We
That was the
we
plan.
knew that it's like this is a special place here. It's a special space, and we wanted to have the food has to match the vibe. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what we're saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And I was so inspired by walking in here and then going into Kutztown. I was like, okay, this is what I envision for this place. And it just came out of me. It just flowed.
And I find it so hard to be excited anymore in the craft beer world.
Yeah,
It's
I've
it's
had an
kind of
identity
been-
crisis lately
Yeah,
with
no,
it.
I totally have too. So to come to a place and feel this like excitement again and
Yeah.
this passion, like, oh my God, I can't wait to come
Yeah.
back here. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't felt that in a really long time. So
Honey,
I
don't
love
worry
that you're
about it.
bringing that to us.
Hang out with me, all right? Hang out with me, all right?
That's all I need.
I give you all the passion you need, all right?
I love it. I'm so excited.
I think one thing you can tell from the people you've seen at the table here. Everybody at Saucony Creek has a personality, right? We're not just
Yeah, no.
And everybody's got a personality, and we love that, And sometimes we don't see eye to eye. Sometimes we do, but it's always in the pursuit of doing the right thing and just making things great for the customer because we want to have a good customer experience.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. We want to be a destination that people can go there and say, I had Martha's great XYZ with Nick's great ABC
Exactly.
beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I want to do that again, and I want to tell my friends
Yes.
about it. And when we come in, it's fun like this. It's social. It's camaraderie.
And a
Right.
train went by.
And a train went by. And
Exactly.
I got $1 off my
Graffiti.
beer because the train went by. Right?
And all graffiti just looking beautiful.
Yeah,
Like
it is beautiful.
this locomotive, just like beautifulness, just driving by. Like, could you imagine like sitting there at
Yeah.
the bar and just
I know.
seeing this
Seeing that,
beautiful
yeah.
Yeah, so
locomotive?
I feel like I'm 7 again, like being excited to see the train
Trains,
come
You
by.
know?
Yeah.
It's
We,
yeah.
we
it's-
stand out here and we wave to the trains when they buy, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's really great because I think in the old days when we were kids, or you're a kid,
Yeah.
right? You wave to the train and the engineer
Yeah.
waves back. So we see the trains coming, and we go out here and we wave to the engineers, and the first thing they do is they look at you like,
What?
What's
The
up
hell
with
are you
man? What are you
doing?"
doing? And then, like after about 5 seconds, they're like, "Oh, like they're just waving at me," and then they would start waving back.
And-
So,
It's going to be a thing now. They're going to know when they drive by
By
this
here, yeah,
building.
yeah.
There's going to be people waving at them.
In New York, they'll call the cops. They'll be like, listen, there's a freaking lunatic at the platform.
yeah, exactly.
He looks like he wants to stand in front of the train.
He's gonna jump.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Well, we've got another beer here. If
We
you
have
want
another
it.
friend
and
here,
another
too.
friend
We
here to
do
bring
as
in.
well.
Hey, Robin.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Should we haze our new friend with a game?
Yeah, I was gonna say we got to transition into all that fun stuff as well.
I want to say good night, everybody.
Oh,
Thank you so
good night,
much.
Martha.
Thank
you, Martha.
I'm looking forward to seeing all of you over here.
Oh,
Yeah,
right?
we'll be back.
You
We'll be
know
back.
it. You know it.
And we could do a whole episode with Martha.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes.
We'll have some fun, all right?
100%.
All right. Thank you so
we'll
much.
invite her into the basement.
All right.
Let's do the basement,
Let's
all
do
right,
the
honey? I
basement.
like basements. Who doesn't?
Well, Robin, thank you for coming up to the table, man.
Oh, thanks for inviting me.
Of course. So you are the general manager here
That is
at the
correct.
new location. Very cool. What are you most excited about with the new location here at Saucony opening?
Oh, the beer here is going to be phenomenal, and now people don't have to drive all the way out to Kutztown to get it. The local people here can enjoy it without driving out to Kutztown, and the location. This is a grand building. So I think the location, our food's going to be second to none in Berks County, and the beer obviously is second to none already.
The building is, I've said this before. You got Grand Central Station.
Yep.
Right? We're a microbrewery. This is Micro Grand Central Station.
There you go.
It really is. It has that aesthetic, just smaller. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a grand old lady, isn't it?
Yeah. It's really cool.
Kirby, pass another beer.
So the beer that we've got here is called Fruit Wagon. So we switched here from the Bulgins and the IPAs, and we're going to jump into the sour side. Nick, lead us into the sour side.
Yeah, so Fruit Wagon Sour, 6.3% ABV. One of my favorite beers to make. I love making sour beers. This is a beer that we brew into the kettle. There's no boil. We'll send it off into the fermenter, and then we'll add lactobacillus, which is a souring bacteria. Very fun to work with within 24 to 48 hours at 100 plus degrees. We're getting a huge pH drop in it, so there's not a whole lot of sugar consumption. The lactobacillus will create the lactic acid, which leads to that super tart flavor.
This is delicious.
Yeah. Robin,
yes.
Since you're at the table now, we're going to make you do something.
Dun, 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 dun.
And there are actually stakes involved now.
There are.
Steaks?
So every episode,
Porterhouse,
Not
I
the
hope.
good kind.
Delmonico?
No,
That was good.
not
That
those
was
kind
good.
of steaks.
That was good.
We every episode we play a game, and we've kind of reached that point where we're about to play the game. So you just sat down at the perfect moment.
Oh, man.
So
You got this.
You'll-
It's going to be okay.
you'll learn as we go.
Okay.
In that vein, what do we got, Wayne?
Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, a podcast trivia segment that always runs on time.
Is that true?
No.
No, because we're in a train station.
I know, but
like,
think of like this episode and how.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, question: what are the two greatest Happy Fun Time games ever conceived?
Libation fabrication and
There's weird in my beer.
Absolutely correct. You win a spoonful of smug satisfaction.
oh,
Sweet.
Like Reese's peanut butter cups, I present two great tastes that taste great together.
oh no,
Oh,
oh no,
take a little fabrication.
No.
And mix it with the weird to present a new game called Is There Weird in My Beer?
God damn it!
A new game.
A new game. This is the
I
first time
haven't
we're
heard
playing
this
this
one
game.
on the bud. Oh,
So
boy.
this-
So at least
We had
Robin,
to change it up
the,
for you.
The
We did.
playing field is all level. We're all in this.
Nobody's
evenly.
played this
Okay.
game before. So this
We're
time,
all fucked.
rather than having you guess whether a strange ingredient is in a beer, or what strange ingredient is in a beer, or whether a ridiculous beer name is made up or not, we're graduating.
Graduating?
We're graduating.
Graduating like the graduation across the street at the Santander Arena tonight.
Yes, from checkers to chess. I'm going to tell you a truly bizarre brew, and you have to guess whether it even exists at all.
This is frightening.
Fun.
Oh dear.
So these are beers made with really weird ingredients that might be real or might be fake.
Like,
I don't know.
rusty
I think
nails?
Nick can make almost anything, right?
This is true. This is true. But you have to guess whether someone else has made this thing. And as we alluded to earlier, we are now doling out punishments to the loser to Happy Fun Time Games. There's never been a prize for winning, and there still isn't. But
And
now
there
if you
shouldn't be.
lose, you have to endure a punishment in Last Call, the bonus portion of the podcast that only our patrons on Patreon get to listen to. And I guess we're telling people
Are we
what the
filming
punishment
it
is.
too?
Yeah, we're filming
We
it.
film the punishments too.
Yeah, you'll be able to see it as well. So today's punishment, I actually brought two things. I have one I want to use, but if somebody really, really doesn't want to do it, I have a backup. So The punishment I have is a growler of a coconut porter. I believe it was a porter that we had on the show a month or two ago, maybe.
Yeah.
I won't say the name of the brewery because it actually was a really good beer.
It was
But
an amazing beer. Yeah.
Dan and I forgot it in the back of his car for a couple of days.
Oh, no.
Still brought it in the house and put it in the beer fridge. I thought we got rid of it. It was still there.
Yum.
Yeah.
So not only is it like a month and a half old, it was also sitting in your car for a couple days.
Yes,
So it may
exactly.
have re-fermented once or twice.
Yeah.
or 5
Yeah.
times.
Yow.
Yeah. So the loser.
Shiza.
Nick,
has-
maybe we want to culture something out of that.
Who knows?
The can didn't explode, did it?
No, it's a growler.
in a growler,
which is
which would
even
make
worse.
it even better.
Yeah, so it's oxidized, man.
That's a bomb.
Totally.
Wait,
So yeah, the loser of the game is going to have to drink.
Ooh,
brownout.
moonlighting.
We had a brownout.
Spooky.
It's going to have to drink at least a sip. At least a sip. Just a taste. Just tickle the tongue.
Just a sip.
If you want to drink more power to you. So anyway, without further ado, after that long, arduous intro, we are going to start the game, and we will begin in time-honored tradition to my left with Dan. Tell me, is this a real beer or is it fake? It's a mac and cheese habanero ale.
Oh.
That sounds amazing.
What kind of cheese?
Craft.
Craft beer.
Habanero mac and cheese sounds
With a
good,
K.
but I don't know about it in a beer. God, I hope not. I'm going fake.
All right, Dan is saying
I don't know
that
what
is
brewer
fake.
would want cheese in their beer.
I know,
Because
right?
that's off. That's not right.
It's also full of fats.
Yeah. No, well, I'm
Yeah.
thinking flavor. I'm going to say it's fake.
All right, Steph saying
Although
it's fake.
that does sound delicious
All
as
right,
food.
Rob.
Real.
Real.
Oh, Rob is
bucking
not
the trend.
bold move.
Going real.
You really want that coconut porter, don't you?
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I'm just curious.
My pen keeps falling apart. I apologize.
Man.
Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I just saw a meme earlier. Earlier today, it was mentioned something. There's a brewer somewhere that's trying to dial in their triple decoction mash, and then there's a brewer in Virginia that has this that they're putting in the mash, and it was a picture of 2 ramen noodles uncooked with peanut butter and jelly on them. I'm like, yeah, that's probably correct.
It's unique.
And people will wait in line for that one.
I will tell
Exactly.
you that in one of the parent games to this, there's Weird in My Beer, we did a ramen beer, and it was real.
Really?
And it actually
Wow.
was. Yeah.
Wow. With peanut butter and jelly or no?
No, and I don't believe so.
I'm going to say false.
All right, saying fake, and finally Kirby.
You know, I'm going to go with true on this one.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm thinking, here's why.
I'm scared, Dan.
Wisconsin, cheese. There's probably some brewer up in Wisconsin that people have been bugging them to put cheese in their beer, and so, yeah, I'm going to go with it.
And
You
they
probably
finally
had a cheese
relented.
hat on, too, right?
Yeah,
A cheese hat,
exactly.
Yeah,
right?
the wedge hat, yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, you are absolutely correct. It is, in fact, real.
What?
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
It is made by a company called the Brewer's Cabinet. Who knows what's in that cabinet? Probably
A
involves
lot of cheese, right?
Yeah, right. Some kind of artificial cheese flavoring. One internet reviewer said it was neon yellow orange. Had an aroma and flavor of the leftover water from Kraft mac and cheese, with some
yummy.
spice thrown in to make it slightly less disgusting. Fun, fake, ultimately a bit gross.
Ultimately a bit gross.
Ultimately,
that
a
should be on my
bit
tombstone.
gross. So that one,
That's funny.
that's pretty good.
That's funny.
That was pretty good. Moving on, Steph's going to guess first on this one.
I want to see that.
Our next weird beer. Tell me, is it real or fake? This is Fish and Chips Flanders Red.
Mother. I'm just going to say real for all of them. This is messed up.
But you said
Messed
fake for the
up.
first one.
Messed
So she
up.
is
Oh,
now
I should have
deciding.
said real. My job is always to say real, and I didn't. And look what happened.
Yeah, it all goes to shit now. Rob,
I forgot what it was already.
Fish and Chips.
Fish and chips,
Thank you.
right?
I was
Flanders
I was
Red.
pointing out
Flanders
that
Red,
you didn't follow your strategy.
I don't know. I kind of feel like fish and chips.
Somebody's
got
to make some fishy beer, right?
Yeah, it's vinegary. It could work.
I agree.
Sounds fishy. All
Sure.
right, saying it is real. Nick,
Yeah, as a brewer, I'm going to say that's 100% real. A lot of, it's funny, but you know the Flemish Reds do have that acetobacter is one of the main souring components. So you do get that vinegar character in Douche or Precious State Poujon.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Douche.
I was thinking the same thing.
So yeah, I don't see why somebody wouldn't do that.
A very well thought out answer, Kirby.
I don't see why someone wouldn't do that. He says.
So, I think I'm going to say no. I'm
All
going
right.
to go against this one. And only because I'm hoping that a brewer is not going to be that fucking stupid.
Fair.
Oh,
fair.
but the mac and cheese?
That you went with, right?
Well, hopefully they didn't put the
Seriously?
fish in. I don't know about the fish, but the vinegar part.
Finally, Dan, we have 3 reals and a fake.
Oh God, I don't know. Fake.
Dan is saying fake. You are correct,
Reluctant.
sir. It is fake. Kirby and Dan.
All right, Dan.
Get it right.
It sounded too real.
I don't see why somebody wouldn't, but nobody did.
Nick, what do you think?
Unfortunately.
Do we want to make that beer since nobody's done it yet?
If you did.
Get on it, Nick.
What do you think, Robin? Would that sell here?
Yeah, I think so. We'll get all the fishermen in, right?
Yeah, it's a fishing community, right?
You know how famous Reading is for its fisherman community? Moving on. Robin, you are going to go first. And our next beer is a steak and onion Kolsch.
There you go. That's you.
Boy.
Wow.
High stakes, as we said.
What kind of steak is that?
The kind that goes in a Kolsch
Okay.
with onions.
I might have to confer with Martha here. Since I can't defer to Nick, I'll say it's true.
All right, saying it is real. Nick, what do you say?
Logically thinking, a Kolsch would be something that would go with that. So yes.
Okay. I like the thought out answers. I like the answers that have a reason behind them. Kirby?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes on this one.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't have a reason, but I just feel a yes.
Okay. Everybody saying real so far. Dan, what do you think?
Fake.
Right, says Dan. And finally, Steph. Looking at the scoreboard, strategizing.
What did Nick say?
Nick said real.
Real.
Steph is saying real. Good strategy because it is, in fact, real.
I need to be strategic now. I don't want to have to drink that thing.
Yes. This is from Great Basin Brewing Company. Not a whole lot to go on as to how it's actually made, but I did find some reviews. For example, Slow Runner 77 says it poured a Worcestershire brown with onion powder floaties.
Whoa.
Gorgeous.
Mixed well.
Drink from the can, people.
Drink from the can. Not terrible, but a little off-putting, especially in beer. But they did hit the A1 in onion flavors pretty good. In a Kolsch.
Why A1? No, A1 does not belong on a steak.
Or in a Kolsch. But there it is.
Or in a Kolsch.
It belongs on a steak less than in a Kolsch.
A1 was invented by the devil.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Yeah, I think so.
I don't even think Lucifer himself would have done that. I'm going to be honest.
Wow, who's worse than the devil? Bill
You want me
Cosby.
to answer? Well, okay. You went with a better answer than mine.
Nick is going to guess first on our next beer, and our next beer is a peanut butter pickle pilsner.
Ooh, yes, please.
Pickle pilsner.
Yes, peanut butter pickle pilsner.
Trader Joe's says pickle popcorn right now, by the way.
Ew.
I'm going to say yes. I think somebody did that.
All right, saying that is real, Kirby.
Yep, I'm going to agree with Nick. I think that's real. You know, peanut butter has been tried in just about every style of beer.
It's true.
And it can go well with a stout, but putting it in a Pilsner doesn't make any sense. But somebody would try it because they had that leftover peanut butter powder.
And then they accidentally
yeah.
dropped pickles in it, too.
What the
And
hell?
they were like,
Sure. And I think there's some alliteration there. Peanut butter pickle Pilsner.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That sounds
it's real.
right.
Peter
Yeah.
Piper
Yeah,
picked
somebody-
up a
somebody
pair of
thought
peanut
through
butter
that.
Pickle Pilsner.
Yeah.
Peter Piper poured a 6-pack of peanut butter pickle pilsner. Dan.
Into
Poured a
my
pint
mouth.
of peanut
Poured a
butter.
oh, yes,
Oh,
yes,
even
even
better,
better.
even
Even
better.
better.
Even
Peanut
better.
butter pickle pilsner. Peanut butter pickle pilsner. Real.
Dan is saying that is real.
In my
Steph?
head, I think you made this up because it sounds like something you would think of, but I want it so badly to be real
Okay.
because I would totally drink this.
Okay.
Now I'm looking at your face and I think it's fake. Damn it.
How long have you known him?
Damn it.
All my
His
life.
entire life.
Literally my entire life.
His
Be able to
entire life.
read that
Literally.
face.
Literally.
2 months older than me.
I'm going to say fake,
All right, Steph saying
but I would
fake.
drink it.
Finally, Robin.
Peanut butter pickles.
It sounds so good.
dill pickles or sweet and sour pickles?
That's a great question.
Right?
That's a great question.
Yeah, what kind?
I don't think he's going to tell us, though.
I think it's true.
Pilsner pickles. Saying real. Steph is the only one who is wrong. Not
you wanted
only,
to celebrate.
He likes coconut.
Not only is
I'm
it,
drinking this friggin' beer.
not only is it real, it's made by Lagunitas.
Oh, God.
No.
Really?
Yep. Although many reviewers on the interwebs claimed that they didn't get much peanut butter or pickle out of this one.
Then what did they
So-
get?
It was probably produced purely for the pleasing alliteration.
Pitter patter.
Peter Piper.
All right.
Oh, shit.
Nick guessed first on that one. Kirby's up next. I'm going to just recap the score. We have
No,
two.
you don't have to do that.
We have 2 more questions left. Dan, 2 points. Steph, very much in danger of the punishment.
Oh, no.
With only 1 correct answer. Robin, doing pretty good. Probably going to be okay with 3 points. Nick, 2. So you're a little iffy as well. You and Dan both have 2. Kirby, perfect. Aces.
Wow. The last time I was on, I was at the bottom, so I'm making up for the last time.
Yeah, this is definitely...
So you send him the answers.
This is definitely your big comeback. So we're gonna have you're gonna guess first on the next one. You're up. It's your turn, and this is a smoked carrot stout.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That sounds amazing.
Absolutely.
If it's not real, you need to make it.
We're going to make that.
If not,
smoked
we'll make
carrot
it, right?
stout.
That sounds amazing.
Without hesitation.
Ready,
Dan, what do you
Nick?
think?
We have a smoker.
We do have a smoker.
I'm going to say fake.
We got
I'm
a
saying
smoker.
real. Real,
we got
real,
carrots.
real. Real. That sounds amazing.
Steph
I
saying
regret my answer.
Steph
That sounds
saying real.
amazing.
Robin.
Well, if not, I want some. Yes, true.
All right, saying it is real, and finally Nick.
I'm going to say that's false. A false.
I
A
don't
false.
regret
A
my
fake.
answer
Yeah,
anymore.
real.
I'm agreeing
All right.
with you.
All right, good.
All right. Dan and Nick agreeing. Both of them are wrong because
damn
it
it.
is in fact
Yes.
real.
Yes.
There's
It
hope.
sounded
There's
too
hope.
easy.
There's hope.
Kirby maintains the queen sweep.
The Queen Sweep.
This is real. It's made by Brew Brothers. Did not actually have very great reviews. Might improve your
Really?
eyesight, though.
I'm surprised.
Does that mean that Steph, Nick, and I each have 2 points?
Yeah, but there's
2?
one more beer,
And
right?
there's one more beer.
2. There's one more question,
Right.
yes.
So we could strategize.
So one of
Somehow.
you is going to lose.
Or all three of us.
Or
are
all
gonna
three,
lose.
maybe.
Or all 3 of you is going to lose.
And you have to split the beer.
Yeah.
True.
Robin and Kirby are safe. Kirby's on fucking fire.
He can fall
He's
asleep
going
now
for the
and still
perfect
win.
score.
Yeah.
He's going for the shutout here.
Yeah.
The pressure's on.
Yeah, it is. So we're going to have, usually at this point I would have the lowest scorer go first, but there's 3 of you. So we'll go with
Go
Dan
back to Dan.
because it's
in
comfortable
order,
and you're,
yeah.
you're to my left. Our final beer of the game, Potato Salad Pilsner.
No. Fake. No.
Dan definitely
No.
saying fake on that one.
I'm also going to say fake because if I got to do this, you got to do this too.
All right. Steph saying fake. Robin, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
Is that German taste salad or Pennsylvania Dutch?
That is a legit
Mayo
question.
or vinegar, you know.
Right.
It's
I mean,
Pilsner. It has to be
They
German.
make potato vodka, right?
It is a Pilsner.
It has to be German. If it's
I'll say
Pilsner.
yes. They make potato vodka.
All right, Robin saying
Nick,
it's
join
real.
us.
Wow.
Nick, join us.
Okay, I might have reminded you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Here's the moment.
This is
so
what
if I agree with you guys, all 3 of us are drinking.
Then
'Cause we
either way,
win or
right.
lose, right?
Yeah,
Win or
exactly.
lose, we booze.
And-
If you disagree, you might be saved.
And they said fall.
They
or
both said fake.
fake. Okay. I like you guys a lot, so I'm going to say fake too. Let's drink coconut
Oh,
porter.
nice.
That's
All
very
right.
noble of you.
All
Nick
right.
taking one for the
It's
team.
a German sparkle party loss.
So we already know that's true. We already know
Damn it.
who's getting punished. Gosh. But Kirby, can you maintain your perfect score?
Oh boy, the pressure's on. So I want to say no, but for some reason this sounds so stupid
that someone would do it.
that somebody would do it.
Yeah, but they all do, really. I mean,
Yeah. I'm going to say yes.
all right. Kirby
Uh-oh.
saying is
I'm
real.
going to one out on the limb.
Breaking the streak because it is fake. It is fake.
Aren't you glad you didn't say real?
Potato vodka. Potato vodka, Nick.
Potato vodka.
Yeah, if you had said real.
You can brew some beer.
Yeah. How do you get those spices and stuff in a beer? I don't know.
I love potato salad. I love Pilsners. The 2 together, maybe not so much. So we're going to add up the score real quick.
I think we already know.
Yeah, we
See,
know.
yeah, but we just got to, put it all in perspective.
You got to make it official.
So at the top, with 5 out of 6, almost a perfect score, is Kirby.
Good job.
Very well done. Coming in just behind with 4 out of 6 points is newcomer to the table, Robin.
Yeah.
Very good showing. Our sad German sparkle party at the bottom. Tied for the punishment, Dan, Steph, and Nick. This is the first time either of my fellow beer busters are being punished, and you're both being punished.
I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of fitting.
That means you're
going
to have to do the filming.
I am. Well,
This means we got
true.
video
Rich can
and
film.
I was just
pictures.
saying, we'll enlist Rich.
because we need at least 2 angles. But yeah,
Again.
so if you want to find out how you can see this punishment,
I should
it's
address
only going to
hands
be on
here.
Patreon. We're going to do
I'm
it during
usually not
last
in
call.
these videos.
We're going to do it during last call, which is the bonus podcast that only our patrons on Patreon get to listen to. Everyone at every tier, regardless of how much you donate, gets access to both this video and the bonus portion of the podcast. But if you donate a little bit more, you might get on this list. This is, of course, the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon, many of which were in the house this evening. Although I think, some of them are still over there.
They're all still here.
They are all still here. We will begin with a brand new patron.
Yeah!
New patron, Jan Shank.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Very good, very good. New patron gets a new sound clip. And the names you know and love, James Lamberg.
I also like whale sperm.
Hey, James.
Joe Mansell.
9.
Mark Modugno.
Baby steps.
That was Francisco. Topher Simmons.
I don't have a beer.
Poor Man's Brewing Company.
Oh, no.
Fucking ain't right.
Kathy Obashevsky.
Perfect.
Get punished.
Eric Dixon. Bag it up.
Back it up.
Nate Falkman.
Yes!
Brian Mills.
Hold on.
Spilled the beer.
Beer is every place. Wolfgang Von Colt.
Beer is every place.
There it is. Jen McDonald.
Dark, thick stuff.
Marilyn Engelman.
Oh my God.
Jalapeno.
Josh Price.
Oh, whoop.
Ron McDonald.
I am Cornholio.
And Victoria
He
Miles.
wants to get super drunk so he can tackle the dump.
Absolutely. If you want to find out how you can get on this esteemed
Dear
list,
patrons, don't take it personally. We don't
Yeah.
look when
It's
we hit
all
the
random,
buttons.
and we've been drinking.
It's really, really random. You can get on this list. You can get last call. You can get the videos. You can get invited to special events. You know the drill. Go to patreon.com/beerbusters. But Dan,
Yes.
what do we have to do now?
I think we got to settle up.
Sell our tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
This episode is brought to you by Brooklyn Brew Shop. They've been empowering the kitchen curious since 2009 with beer-making kits that are compact, attractive, and easy to use, keeping the most space-strapped brewers in mind. You get to use the same ingredients at home as world-class craft breweries. There's no extract, no sugar powders, just grain, hops, yeast, and depending on your beer, other fun and exotic spices. Each kit comes with everything you need to make professional quality beer in your very own home. And you can even do hard cider, wine, and sparkling wine kits as well. And for Beer Busters listeners, if you visit bit.ly/BeerBustersBrooklyn, you're going to get free and fast shipping on orders over $59. That's bit.ly/BeerBustersBrooklyn.
Your beer. No. Know your beers.
Steph, what do we got?
I might keep talking about hops.
Hops.
You know why? Because it's my libation or fabrication.
Are we just going to change the segment from Know Your Beer to Know Your Hops?
Until I get through every hop, yes.
Okay. Well, there's constantly new
What about the
ones being
experimental
developed.
ones?
I don't know.
Experimental number 7.
What hops are we talking about today?
Alcohol we've consumed on an episode for a very long time. I'm just going to point that out.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
pretty
blame
buzzed,
Kirby.
and I've been taking it slow because I got to
blame
get up
Kirby.
tomorrow. I do blame Kirby as
Okay,
well.
so I'm very quickly going to talk about 3 hops. They all start with C. Cluster. America's original hop. Did you know it?
Really?
Did you know?
No.
Cluster is the oldest hop variety grown in the U.S., and until relatively recently, it accounted for the majority of the acreage as well. It's used as a balancing bittering hop. It's pungent, but not unpleasant. It adds the authenticity of historical recipes as well as a throwback to American lager styles. The aroma and flavor are somewhat strong and largely underrated, spicy and floral with an earthy black currant undertone. Alpha, 5.5 to 8.5. Beta, 4.5 to 5.5. This is way harder when you're buzzed. I've forgotten that.
Yeah.
Shut your buzz.
Comet, dominated by citrus zest and fragrant grassy notes. Comet is a dual-use hop from the U.S., of course. It is a cross between English hops with wild American varieties and was first released in 1974. Commercial production ceased in the 1980s, and it was kind of phased out in favor of the new super high alpha varieties. Recently, however, it has kind of made a comeback. So welcome back, Comet. It's intended as a high alpha bittering hop when it was first released, but now it's sort of more of an aroma hop for IPAs, wild ales, farmhouse beers, and other cutting edge craft styles. Aroma and flavor, it's a citrus zest, fragrant, grassy character and undertones of old school. I love that. Earthy bitterness. Earthy bitterness, folks, is now old school. Just, you know. Alpha, 9 to 12%, and beta, 3 to 6. Crystal, another C. Sweet floral, spicy aroma, and gentle bitterness. It originated in Oregon. It is, unsurprisingly, it is given its Hallertau parentage. Crystal excels in continental lager and wheat styles, as well as Belgian ales. However, since it also includes a little bit of Cascade, some craft brewers put it to use in their IPA hop loads as well. Aroma and flavor, mild, sweet, delicate, high floral, with a touch of noble spice, such as cinnamon, black pepper. Heavy doses of dry hopping can bring out a bit more intensity, and a little bit of citrus peel and dried lemongrass. Alpha, 3.5 to 5.5, beta, 4.5 to 6.5. Now you know.
The more you know.
Hops for days.
Hey, Kirby.
Yo.
You got more beer?
I do. So we
you
have...
have hold on. I didn't know you had it ready.
Hold on.
Wait.
Hey, Kirby. Hey, Kirby.
Yo.
I can edit it.
Hey, Kirby.
Hey.
Hey, what?
Hey,
Shake
Kirby.
your booty.
You got more beer?
Beer me! Beer me! Beer me! Beer me!
Round 2, fight.
This is what happens when you have too many producers at the table.
That's the first time we've heard that tonight, I think.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Sometimes the first segment just kind of happens and we don't really make it official.
So what we've got here...
Robin's like, give it to me.
Give me a goddamn...
Yeah.
Give it to me.
So we have, I believe...
Schnickelfritz.
Hey, that's dark beer.
Schnickelfritz.
This is save the dark one for towards the end of the show.
Oh.
All right.
So this is a...
Dan?
Oh,
one of the original Saucony Creek brands from day one, 2013, way back. Seasonal. Anybody else?
I think
need
everybody's
some down there? Everybody got it?
some, yes.
Yeah, so it's something that we brew in the winter months. Sometimes a little bit later than the winter months, but it's a nice, dark, stout chocolates and cherries. Nick, take it.
Yeah. Dark stout with chocolates and cherries. Yeah.
You can smell those cherries, right?
Yeah. Milk stout, so a little bit of lactose in there, a little sweetness. Definitely the cherry comes through in the aroma, and a little bit towards the end in the flavor. And chocolate notes, 8%. You know.
It's like a cherry cordial.
Yeah,
in a beer.
Sour cherry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But with
It's like a cherry cordial, right?
But with like a little smokiness too. Yeah.
Like a chocolate covered cherry. We've heard people describe it as.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
I'm
great.
looking at the can trying to
dessertish.
Spell it. Schnickelfritz. Okay.
This is one of those beers, or one of our beers, that I like to say ages well.
Mm-hmm.
It changes. It evolves as it ages, but we'll sometimes keep a half barrel or a sixth or something around for 6 months, a year and a half, and it's consistently good, although it changes a little bit. Maybe the cherry goes away, that sweetness goes away, but it's a good aging beer.
I want to talk about this now before this train derails too much, because I feel like we're teetering on that line. You and I recently talked about this whole 6% tax that is now coming down on breweries, but I understand there's some recent developments in that realm.
Exactly. So I know you guys have covered it in the past on some of your previous podcasts. The Brewers of Pennsylvania, which Saucony Creek is a member, and 150 breweries, I think, out of the 300 plus or so, 160 breweries in Pennsylvania are members of Brewers of PA. And they're a really strong force for representing craft brewing in Pennsylvania. Somewhere along the line, someone in Harrisburg got the idea that, hey, breweries aren't paying sales tax on their beer. Let's make them pay sales tax on their beer that they sell over the counter in the pub. And, if you go to a bar, you're not paying that sales tax the way, so it's like this is an unfair tax, and we already pay a tax on the wholesale value of the beer to the state of Pennsylvania.
Right.
Without getting into a deep political discussion, there were certain lobbying forces that were behind this, and the reason they were behind it is because bars and restaurants are losing business, quite frankly, to the microbreweries. And so they were trying to get maybe a little bit of an advantage on top of the microbreweries. The initial legislation said that beer would be taxed at 6% over the counter in a microbrewery, but not a winery, not a distillery, nor in the bar down the street. So right off the bat, if I sell a pint at Saucony Creek for $5, you're going to pay 30 cents tax. If you walk across the street, you're not going to pay that 30 cents tax. Yeah. Does that make any sense?
No.
Not
it
at
really
all.
Doesn't.
It makes less than 30 cents.
Exactly.
Wow.
So the Brewers of Pennsylvania started
funny.
lobbying and fighting it and battling it, and really bringing this to the attention of representatives and senators and so forth. And what was just recently announced, still don't believe this is completely public, but it was on an internal feed from Brewers of Pennsylvania, is that they believe they've negotiated this down to a 1.5% tax. So the bad news is there's still a tax.
Yeah.
But the good news is it's 25% of 6%. That's the legislation. Now, who the fuck figured that out, right?
Come the hell on.
Yeah, no, seriously. The legislation is 25% of 6%. Well, it works out to 1.5%.
So here's my question, though. Are you going to adjust your prices so that the beer, the consumer is still paying $6,
Right.
and that will include the 1.6%?
I quickly have a more important question. Is that what the song 25 or 624 is about?
Oh, my God.
Boom, Chicago.
Waiting for the break of day.
They were like Nostradamus.
Yeah,
Searching for something to say.
So,
Sorry.
what was the question?
So will a consumer pay $6 plus 1.5%, or do you think most breweries will adjust their prices so that $6 or $7 or whatever includes that tax?
Right. So that's the $64 question. And in the
Or is it 25% of $64?
25% of $64, yeah. In the old legislation, or in the original legislation, this is weird. The brewery had the choice of either eating it so that your $5 pint was still your $5 pint,
or drinking
putting it as a bottom line or a tax,
Just adding it on.
adding
the
it
tab.
on so that your $5 pint was $5.30.
Which honestly, I don't think most craft
Beer drinkers?
I really don't think a lot of craft beer drinkers are going to give a shit about paying 1.5% more. I
Right.
really don't.
I don't either. The thing is that Kyle,
If you're
from
paying
Oak Brook,
cash, though.
somebody like Kyle from Oak Brook, we're great friends with Kyle. He was really concerned about it because he feels that he doesn't have, the restaurant full service thing, and so he's competing with the corner bar.
Yeah.
And therefore he feels that even the 1.5% tax is probably a big problem for him, let alone the 6%. At Saucony Creek and Iron Hill and Appalachian Brewing and, the Fegleys, where you've got a restaurant and customers are used to seeing a
The
taxable
taxes,
amount on their
It's
bill.
just a few extra cents.
It's a few extra cents. So, at Saucony Creek, it'll just show up as a taxable item at 1.5%. Now, in the new legislation, we don't know that weird option of including it or eating it is still in the new legislation.
I didn't think, with sales tax, I thought it was entirely up to the business how they wanted to handle it. As long as you pay 6% on what you sell, it doesn't matter if you put it in your listed price or not.
You don't have to tell the customer or let them.
You could
add
list it
on.
at $1 and charge $1.06, or you could list it as $1.06 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and that may be that you could, but
that's what I always thought. I don't know.
Right.
I agree from the regular tax status, but in the brewery legislation that was introduced, it specifically said you must choose and you must disclose this to your customer with a sign on the wall that this $5 includes 6% tax, or the tax is charged separately. And again, it goes back to the nuances of the LCB. Yeah. But Kyle and Rob over at Chatty Monks and I studied this legislation extensively just to understand what was going on, and it's weird. But it said you had to disclose which way you were charging that beer sales tax.
I find this. Obviously, it sucks. It sucks all around because you shouldn't have to charge that. You shouldn't have to worry about it, and the consumer shouldn't have to pay it. But just as we thought Pennsylvania was coming out of the dark ages with liquor and beer legislation, here we are with this stupid thing.
Yes.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Well, and I think it's the result of the same reason. The reason that Pennsylvania's liquor laws started to become more relaxed was because so many, a lot of it had to do with craft beer. And so many breweries were opening up and providing an economic benefit to the neighborhoods they were opening in and making places better and making the economy better and communities better, driving up, property value because there's a cool brewery down the street. But it's the same thing because all those places are also doing successful. Now the restaurants and the corner bars are feeling the bite, and so they're fighting back against it. So I think it's the result of the same thing.
I'll say I think 3 words or 4 words: Beer Alliance of Pennsylvania.
Beer Alliance of Pennsylvania. 4 words.
Lobbying group for distributors.
And now is that
it's funded by InBev AB?
Of course it is.
Beer.
Get the fuck out of here.
Dun, dun, dun.
God.
Play that Darth Vader theme.
Yeah, right.
I've played a lot of copyrighted things. I'm not gonna go near Disney.
Well,
Oh yeah, no.
No.
When I say it's funded by InBev AB, just to make it clear, it's distributors that sell AB InBev products are a member of Beer Alliance of PA.
Right. And it would be one thing, like, if there was a law introduced, and like Steph said, I don't think a lot of craft beer I wouldn't really care. I wouldn't even really care if it was 6%. Like, personally, I think it's shitty that you would have to do that, but I don't mind paying it if I have to. Like, whatever.
And especially if it ends up being the
it's 30 cents on a pint or whatever. Yeah, even if it was 6%.
I know I did. So if you have I forget what number I started with, but the tax was only 9 cents. I forgot if I started with 5 or 6. A little too late for that.
25 or 6
or
to 4.
To 4. Who knows?
Well, 9 cents would be on $6 if you're
there
talking
it is.
1.5.
Yeah. Teacher to the rescue.
6 and half of 6 is 3. 6 and 3 is 9.
Right, exactly.
Have another beer.
$5 pour.
You started
Careful,
speaking
though.
numbers, and I went cross-eyed.
Careful, though. If you blink, it'll be 182.
Math is awesome.
Jesus Christ.
If I suddenly had to pay that tax
Just be 180.
I was waiting for it.
at a brewery and a bar and at whatever, if they just said, okay, there's sales tax on all alcohol everywhere now, whatever, that would suck. But the fact that it's singling out a certain business over another is just ridiculous.
I think the state's probably not getting as much revenue as they used to from these corner bars that are serving AB InBev beers.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of going by the wayside, and the local craft breweries are on the rise, so the state's not really getting the revenue they used to. So it's we got to search around for it.
Think about it by market too. You saying drinking AB InBev at the corner bar made me think of this. If you go around here, you can probably find a Bud Light, Miller Light, Coors Light for $1.50. Down in Philly, that's the cheap one at $3 or $4.
Yeah, you see Killian's Irish Red over at Trooper Thorns.
$2 now.
Yeah,
it used to be $1. It's $2 from my sources.
Back in the day.
And that inequity that it was applied to breweries, but not to distilleries and wineries.
Yeah.
You might be able to stomach it if it was at least equal across those 3 categories.
But beer is the lowest of all of those. We're still not.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Well, if you'd like to learn more about Saucony or Saucony
and
beer,
not about the legislation,
SauconyBeer.com and Saucony Beer on all the socials.
Yeah.
Of course.
If you want to learn how you can maybe help do something about this shit, check out the Brewers of Pennsylvania. That's what they're there for.
Yes.
So,
Awesome
Great organization.
Yeah, they are. They're really
doing
cool.
awesome things.
Yes, and on a much lighter note than the legislation we've just been talking about, you had said, Kirby, that you're shooting for end of July to open up this beautiful location, right?
Yes, we're going to have soft opening coming up in the beginning of July, and the soft opening is working out the kinks, right, Robin? You want to speak about this?
Yes, we're going to do a few soft opening nights. Start out with people we know, and that will give us honest critique.
Right.
Because
Steph,
we don't want
Rich,
people.
Beerbusters.
That's right.
Well, you know the beginning of
just
July,
shut up
I'll
and
be
drink
away.
and eat. No, but we want to hear honestly how we can improve, and then we're going to progress into people that are helping us out all along, the VIPs and whatever, just to get them in for a night, and then hopefully all the kinks are worked out, and we have enough employees to get open, and we're ready to open.
That's great. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you guys.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah. And we'll have a grand opening announcement then later after that. August,
and of course we'll
something
share it.
like that,
Yeah.
Very cool. I can't wait to see what's in store. And whether or not you guys do open anything at the airport, hey, who knows? But hey, you never know.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, right.
Mark this date down.
I can't possibly thank you guys enough for everything tonight. This has been incredible. Food was great. Beer was great. The company, of course, was fantastic. You guys are awesome, and I'm very happy to see the direction Saucony is going.
Thank you. We love what we do. Nick makes awesome beers. We've got a great staff at the Kutztown location and the new staff with Robin and Martha, Chef Martha. We're so excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
She is one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life.
She's a firecracker, right?
Oh, that is an understatement.
Yeah.
She is amazing.
Exactly.
I love it.
And a reminder to you out there in podcast land, if you want to follow the shenanigans, I'm sure there will be posts and stories and such along the way about what's happening at Saucony, among other places, at Beerbusters, Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, Beerbusters Podcast, beerbusterspodcast.com.
And if you want to see Steph and Dan suffer through their first
also Nick. He's in it with us.
Yeah.
I forgot about
Because he so kindly agreed with us instead of diving with that grenade.
I have awesome beers for last call.
That's true.
I may have brought a few beers.
Yes.
For
Nick
last
was
call.
going to kind of like slide out the back door down the railroad tracks.
Gotta go.
There,
My
there
kids.
goes the train.
We'll
Nick's
get the
jumping the
punishment
train.
over with, and then we'll drink the awesome
drink the
beers.
good
after.
stuff.
At least we have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
So
worry.
the party's not over. We're going to sit around and do last call. If you want to hear that, go to patreon.com/Beerbusters. Sign up to become a patron of the podcast. Any donation tier gets access to last call and the punishment videos. So if you like what you do and you want to support us, check it out. If you like what we do and you want to support us but you can't afford it, that's
5
fine.
stars.
We understand. Rate and review us on your podcast app of choice, and then rate all the rest of the podcasts
Yes,
you listen
rate
to as
all
well.
podcasts. That's what
Please
helps
do
us.
that.
Do it.
That's
Do
podca-
it.
podcast
Do it.
currency.
5 seconds.
Do it. Speaking of doing it, this unfortunately brings us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters.
Doing it and doing it well.
If
I
you have-
represent Queen. She
I
was raised out of Brooklyn.
God damn it.
It was
Martha was raised out of Brooklyn, she said.
Exactly.
Yay! It all ties back together.
Martha,
Martha, Martha, Martha, Martha.
My
She has no
God.
idea
She's
we're
talking.
chanting for.
She can't shut up.
She doesn't know.
Oh, God. If you haven't been to Saucony Creek in Kutztown, obviously you need to go. Martha's back.
Yeah, Martha.
But you got to come to the new location to experience.
7th and Franklin.
Well, hey, I am Dan Baker, and I am joined by...
Steph Hefner and Wayne Baker. No squints or harm. They're making this episode. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Later.
Peace out,
Later.
homies.
Hey, I had a great eve with the 6 of you, but I drank so much, my third eye is blind, and we're surrounded by 10,000 maniacs.
Would you walk 500 miles?